My only job is to come up with bad segues and then do editing.
Oh shit! Oh.
What was your question earlier, Richard? About something?
Your Sonic person, all the Sonic tweets and stuff you were sending me.
Oh, Corona.
Yeah, you got me home in Sonic music, but then I sent you that our friend on Destiny that has all those hours on Destiny. He's on Destiny 2 every time I look at it, and he was on just then.
Yeah, I mean, she beat Sonic 1 in 5 hours, and I think Sonic 2 was 11 hours when I went back and looked at
How
it.
far did we get? We beat Chemical Zone. Was it Casino Zone we got stuck on, or the one after that?
For 2?
1. You and I tried to play through a 1. This has been like 5 years.
It was like that. It was that weird Greece like level with the lava and like the columns and shit. It was like a ancient Greece like type level. It was like number 4 or number 5.
That's the second one. That's Marble Zone, right? Or was it like the Marble Zone remix one? Brandon, have you ever beat the first Sonic?
Nope.
Then we discovered a loophole shortly thereafter on my modded Wii that if you play Sonic Drifters, you can play the exact same world in the order.
Beatable, man.
The game. That's the true lore.
So it's Green Hill Zone, Marble Zone's the second
We
one.
beat that one, I thought.
I need pictures. Names is not doing me anything. Yeah, she had a bit on there where when she got Supersonic and Sega 2, Sonic 2, Sega 2, Sonic 2. Yeah, she became Supersonic and she thought she couldn't die and she fell off the cliff. She's like, wait a minute, I can die. She's like, that sucks.
I mean, even Invincible Mario, if you dive off the edge, he still kills you.
Yeah, that was a pretty good bit.
All right, Brant, one of your links is broken. It's going to Gahatsu for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell is wrong
How
with
did it
that
rename
one.
that one?
But just change the H to an M. I can fix it real quick
weird.
though.
I got it pulled up. I'll just go back in the URL and change it.
Yeah.
Gahatsu.
Because I noticed that when I pulled it up, I'm like, did I just fuck something up? And then
did it like
figured I'd
autocorrect
wait
that one character?
I don't know, because all I did was literally I do the same thing every time. Go to the website, copy link, and just paste. So I have no idea how it did Gahatsu.
I'm looking. Did we get past Marble Zone? Marble Zone's always the one I say fuck this and give up.
We beat that because we got the Chemical Zone. Boom, 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 boom. Do 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 do.
So the one after Marble Zone is. Fuck! I was just there. Go back.
It's not Chemical Zone. Chemical Zone's the
Spring
second
Yard
one,
Zone.
right?
Yeah, there's no Chemical Zone at all in Sonic.
I thought so.
It's Green Hill, Marble, Spring Yard, Labyrinth, Starlight, Scrap Brain, and then Final Zone. I think we got to Spring Yard and we stopped.
We beat Labyrinth.
Labyrinth is number 4. We didn't even get that. I think I barely got past Marble Zone. I don't think I got past.
We beat the third one and gave up. And switched to the Game Gear racing game.
The definitive experience.
Definitive Sonic Racing.
The way it should have been played.
So, did you find any of the Cokes yet? The Coke and coffees?
As I am, I barely get out the house.
Yeah.
So
Hudson Bridge Walmart. I saw them there.
If it's not in the Kroger in Moreland Avenue in Atlanta, that's the extent of me going anywhere because that's on the way to work.
You're not a soda fiend like we are you?
It depends. I'll get a soda if I go out to eat most times.
Okay.
I try to stay water though, but I do like a Coke, cherry Coke.
Okay. Because I like to do in our aluminum and aspartame bit, and I would 100%. I've had the vanilla Coke coffee, so I've tried it at least, and it's fucking amazing. It's so fucking good.
Shit, really?
I bought like 4 today. I'm not gonna lie.
I saw the Coke guy when I was there in Kroger Tuesday, and I was like inclined to maybe ask him, but then he had the look on his face like I just want to get this bullshit done and go home, and I was like, I'm not gonna mess with him.
You can read people.
I have that feeling too sometimes.
They got headphones in, mask on, hoodie most of the time. They're just stocking shit. They're like, don't fuck with me. You can read them.
It's not even the headphones. I just the look at the feet on his face. Yeah. I've seen that, so I was like,
all right. So they're $1.88 at Walmart. The 4-packs are $5.48, but I haven't found the 0 4-packs. They are 2 for $3 at Kroger. So Kroger's your best bet. That's where I got the other ones. I haven't tried dark roast. In the regular, there's vanilla, or dark roast, and caramel, but there's no caramel 0 that I've found.
As there should not be.
The missus liked it. She did the whole meme with the.
Oh, with that lady, yeah. I know you're talking
it bounces around, man. You get the vanilla, then you get the Coke bit of it, and then you get the coffee, and it's just, man, it's fucking good. I love that drink. It's so good. Oh shit. But it would be fun to do that bit again if we could all. Like, there's the game fuels are $1 right now at Kroger if y'all want to grab one for an upcoming episode. One of the game fuels.
What are the flavor in those?
There's a green one like watermelon, and then there's a strawberry one. I think we did an episode with those, Cesar.
I believe
we did
so.
Your Dr. Pepper.
Which ones?
Dr. Peppers you picked up.
The cream soda ones that somehow reemerged.
I've never seen them since.
They got commercials now with that little sweet guy or whatever his name is.
Sweet. It's the sweet one. He's always like coming up out of the dryer and shit.
Randomest place and like the ladies are following him everywhere.
They love Little Sweet. Brant, the drink was Mountain Dew Gamer Fuel, and there's two zero flavors because those are the ones we'll hit up in review.
I won't drink my calories, man. That's my rule.
Yeah, that's pretty
Unless
smart.
it's coffee with creamer.
Yeah, I'll take my sugar and carb hits in other places too. I'm trying to think if we could get those out somewhere. Cesar, I could always run by you. I have something for you anyways. Brant, are you in work tomorrow?
Yeah.
I might try to get 3 of those at Kroger or something, and we do a bit next week. Would that be fun?
What?
A drink?
Yeah.
Coffee?
I'll let you know.
I don't do.
You're not gonna drink the coffee one?
I don't. I just don't drink coffee. I mean, if we want to do it for the bit, I'll do it. I'll take it like
You'd
a
be
champ.
the truest.
Yeah, coffee is not my shit.
You'd be the truest review of whatever it is.
That's what I'm saying. Yours would be the best one because you don't drink coffee at all. You'd be like
I've tried a few times, but every time I'm like, not really my thing.
Do you like frappuccinos or anything? Do you like anything coffee related? Damn it, Brant.
Not usually.
How do you make it?
I think willpower.
What are you like, British? You only drink tea or something like that? What's going on here?
No.
What are you
fucking
like,
willpower.
British? They're the only tea drinkers, so there's no Southern tea drinkers.
There's so many on there, but that was the only example popped in my head at this
I'm
time.
digging
so
it.
I went with it. Yeah.
What are you, fucking British? Drinking your tea?
And we're a bunch of Yanks. Yanks to Brant's British Brant.
Hey, man. I got Hispanic blood in me, too, so the coffee's in there twice.
Double.
So. Mm-hmm.
Brantish. What are you, Brantish? No, I'll get the Mountain Dew one if I can to make it a bit. I just got to get out early. Stay posted. That may or may not be a thing. I like having that bit because it breaks up. We always did it. It seems like we always did it at the start of an episode, and it was just a good. It was always a good
icebreaker, good, just warm up.
So sorry, you remember the first episodes where it would be like 30, 45 minutes of us trying to get going and just like not knowing how to talk or what to talk about?
90% of that was because it's so fucking late at night, and I was dead.
I definitely miss seeing everybody. That was always a highlight, but there's something to the convenience of, okay, we just got to get to a room where we're isolated and then we can just dial in and talk to each other. We probably should have done this, a long time ago, but forced adaptation.
That's what's even worse is like I literally am at my desk where I work, and then as soon as I'm done at work, I just turn my chair right around and start playing games. I never leave this room. So outside of getting food,
hey, at least make it your spot, right? Make it your own.
I can survive in a studio apartment.
Yeah. I always we have this big ass house, but when we go to IKEA, I love look at this house you can have in 800 square feet or whatever it is they come up with. I always like that shit. You have a full kitchen and like a day bed thing. I dated somebody with a day bed. I always liked that concept.
Day bed.
The reference is lost on me, but it was amusing.
I lost that as well.
It's always sunny.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Did they like day beds, or what is the bit around it?
It's the song is Day Man.
And they make it day bed.
I just made it day bed.
Oh, even better. Brand adapts it. It's like a futon. My kids call it a tufon. Dad, the cat's under the tufon. The what?
Enjoy it. where they reverse the F and U in the T.
But
right?
I knew what they were talking about, so
yeah.
we just roll with it. We all call it a too fun now. It is
too
what
fun.
it is.
It's like that stuff where my parents used to give me shit about stuff I used to say when I was younger, when I was like 13. I'm like, stop. It's like you got that ammo on them now.
They still do? They still do that to you?
No, they did that when I was a teenager. You know, that was like even more annoying. Now maybe they do. I don't even pay attention.
What were some
now,
of yours?
I don't even remember because it's been so long since I've been teased about it. But I do remember being teased about like, you should say it this way, and I'm like, yeah, thanks. I'm like 16. I'm like, I don't want to be reminded.
I'm kind of glad you forgot. And luckily enough, we have them on. Here we go, Mr. and Mrs. Concepcion. Welcome to the show. Let us know the crazy stuff Cesar came up with.
Go right ahead.
Come on down.
This is the worst game show ever.
Worst game show ever. All right, Brant, are we going to talk about headphones in the games played? A mini review that I didn't get from you before I splurged. They remembered your ass. Do you know the people at that Walmart? I was like, my friend sent me here. He told me they had some, and they described you. And I was like, yeah, that's him.
Wow.
But the guy who sold it to me remembered me asking about him in like December when it said they had like 5 or 6, and I went in there and there were none there. So.
Wow. Yeah, I went in Sunday. I had to grab something real quick.
PlayStation headset.
Really for like dinner, and I just happened to like walk back there just to see. I always want to see if they've got anything, and I'm like, there's actually some here. They have them in stock. And so yeah, I came back the very next day and went ahead and got a pair.
You got the 5th. And then when I got it, there was one left, so I got the second.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're burning them up. I did get them to check those 2 clearance games. I send you messages, and I can never tell if they go through or not. They'll say undeliverable, and I'm like, all right, whatever. But I got them to check Ni no Kuni and what was the other one? Octopath. Those are supposed to be the next big clearance, and they're both full price.
Yeah.
So if you look on BrickSeek, they don't have them in that yours location, but if you go to Ellenwood, they got them for $10.
Ellenwood has both of those?
Yes. I looked at BrickSeek, and they have the actual clearance prices on those locations. It's like Ellenwood, and then not the Stockbridge one. Stockbridge one was sold out. It did have the price, but Stockbridge is completely out. I think Ellenwood, and the next closest one was like MLK Drive.
I know when Morrow puts them up, don't trust that shit. Morrow never takes any of their stuff down. So you got no shot at getting them there. Brent, you think you can wander up to old Ewood and check them out?
Go to Hamble Block. Oh, I might
There's
be
a Hardee's
able to.
up there now.
That's
There's
not my area anymore.
I've been up there.
There's a Hardee's. There's a Popeyes. There's a Wendy's.
I remember the Wendy's.
I don't know what else they've built. I know they keep going.
Just check BrickSeek before you go, but I think when I checked, they had like 10 plus. Ellenwood's always got like their clearance has always been pretty good, and they always have like a shit ton. Because that's why I think I got my Bravely Default for 3DS, the second one. They had all those clearance for like $5 at one point. I bought a couple of them there. They had like 6 or 7 of them. So
Brent, go check.
Now I haven't gone myself. I just know when they posted it online, somebody put the link for BrickSeek down there, and I checked it, and they didn't have it in Ellenwood at that price. So.
That's where my Metroid Prime trilogy came from years ago, years and years and years. Probably after it first opened. I actually used to get prescriptions filled there because I could get there as capably as Brant can. Years ago.
When you had that ability.
Mm-hmm. Something else I used to pick up there. I mean, when they built that Hardee's, that was the breakfast spot too.
I think I remember seeing you there one morning.
Really?
Or not, maybe in the morning, but in the afternoon. Because it was who was that girl that worked over in Sewer Water?
Yep, that was my partner. That was
what
my
was her
partner
name
at the time. We're live. I don't know if we want to put that out there.
Partner name. Partner name.
Yeah,
that's right.
Partner to be named.
But yeah, I think it was sometime around lunch. We had gone in because one of us needed to use the bathroom, and then somebody else was just kind of like wandering around, looking around. But I think we saw you walking out.
We used to eat at that Subway too.
With her, yeah, getting something. So
we used to eat at that Subway.
I ran into the person that you had on our live stream from our HR department.
Nice.
And he was sitting down with the other person in our HR department who she takes care of our health stuff, and He's like, "Oh yeah, wait, you and Richard are on. You do the live streaming, right?" I was like,
He's
yes,
been on with us a couple times.
Yes. Yeah.
He has a grand scheme for an app. We'll have to discuss it off air. But I'm considering assisting to doing with it. I've never done app development, but I'm actually intrigued by this one. It has a lot to do with what we started off talking the podcast about, because I actually hooked him up with one of the vanilla Cokes I found. The vanilla coffee Coke, that is. All right, y'all ready to hit the ground running?
Yeah, before we get started, Brent, how far are you in Resident Evil VII? Or,
it's like Final Fantasy.
I told you. I popped it in.
Or as the Japanese say it, Resident Evil Nana.
Nana. Yeah, that would be Nana. I popped it in and only because I figured when I got it, I was like, I'm gonna play this with VR, and then like 5 minutes into it, I'm like, nope, I gotta lay down, turn everything off, stop.
I got into the house,
and then I got
into the house and
never
went into
put it
the
back
basement, like the trapdoor thing with the juicy bits underneath there, and that's when I landed in that water and looked around underneath there. That's when I tapped out. I was like sweaty and green and all that, and I was upstairs and I was just like, get me out of this.
No, I don't even remember. I got into the house and was walking around and doing something, and then it just kept messing. I just kept feeling more and more nauseous the more I'd move around in that game. I'm like, that's fucking with me.
It was that one and that one I played with Richard. Those first person modes are not the ones. So.
What Farpoint? Because Farpoint didn't fuck with me. I loved Farpoint.
I put that on 1-1.
Yeah, did you do the full movement?
Doing the little side turns.
No,
I think I did full movement.
You have to think that long about it.
Full movement is like as soon as you turn, because it originally starts you off at 45-degree angles, and then you can change it to 1-on-1 where you're just moving around like this, and it's just like Resident Evil 7 when you do 1-on-1.
The joke is always
it's pretty cool because you can look around.
Then I might.
The joke is always that I talk about me hearing Cesar take the headset off and I hear him panting in the background and all that. I was right there with him. It was that bad. We never went back to it.
It was so bad. I have no clue why, but it just was.
I got Resident Evil 7. I got further. I got to the point where I was getting stabbed, and I was like, I can't do this because I kept looking down with a knife in me. So I was like,
that'll fuck you up.
It's too close to home for me. Yeah, I was like,
it wasn't. And that's the thing is, it wasn't the visuals. It was just totally a motion sickness thing for me, which was weird.
Honestly,
because I don't usually get motion sick.
I think with me it was a combination because that game is so disgusting, and it wasn't even like Cesar's talking about getting stabbed. I wasn't even to the gore part. I was just like that kitchen and the food and the gnats and the maggots and all that stuff. It was like the grossness of everything. And then they dropped me down and I landed in that water and I'm like looking around in that cesspool and that was it. I was like, nope, fucking out of this. It looked so good and so real and I was just like, ah.
I'm like you. Today I just popped it back in there, so I started from scratch again, and then I got through the beginning bit, and then when they were Ethan, I'm in the house, and now I'm at the point where I got to get the 3 dog heads to open up the front door. I'm about to leave the house, so I got the final dog head I need to get, and I'm about to have the second boss battle. I just did the fucking bullshit Indiana Jones thing with the shotgun, where you had to go into the room and take the shotgun, and the doors closed. So I have to go find something else to put it in its place. I had to fucking do the Indiana Jones thing to get out of the room. And I did that and got the shotgun, so I'm almost out of the house. I think I'm probably about halfway through the game now. I'm probably maybe about 2 hours into it a day.
Damn. Is it a short game?
I love horror games, man. I think it's 8 or 10 hours. It's like any other Resident Evil game.
So they're notoriously not that long.
Is this me going against the mold creatures, and I'm like looking at my ammo, and I'm like, fuck.
Mold creatures.
And I'm like, and then it's like 8. Yeah, because they call them mold creatures. They're like they kill the people and they like grow mold on them. And they turn to like these black mollusk things. They're just made out of mold. So it's like when I went before to get the boss battle, like they come out the fucking wall. So I was like, I saw one come out the wall. I was like, I went past and went to the door, and I went in there and it's like there's 3 coming from every hallway. I'm like, well, nice to know everybody. Peace. I was like, I thought I was gonna die, so I kind of like circled around and just ran out, and I somehow survived. I had to go back upstairs and get the shotgun because I was like, I don't need this. I was like, I had to go get the fucking shotgun, and we're all the way back downstairs and just start blowing them in the head. So I'm like,
we'll cover. I'm sure we'll get more of your impressions on gameplay. One other production note before we get started: did anybody watch the White House briefing today about
GameStop?
No, not GameStop.
The GameStop briefing?
I'm glad that's not in stories because I still don't even understand it. But they were talking about the vaccine rollout. Did anybody watch any of that? So this is the first presser for the new task force for coronavirus. And they are like echoing all over each other. They got all these like independent sources and stuff. And the whole time I'm like, please let me in. I'll troubleshoot it. I know what's happening. I know exactly what's happening. We dealt with this with our podcast. I'm like, please let me fix this. Because the whole like summary of the article is just first coronavirus task force technical issues, and I'm like, no, this could have been easily repaired. I know what was happening. Mute your other NDI sources because it's exactly what we encountered when we first started doing this, where we were bleeding over each other. Yep, it was the exact same thing, and I was like, fuck, I know how to fix this. Invite me. You think I could have put that in the chat?
Did they? You could have just went in and like, hey guys, and just start screaming out what to do, and they probably like, hey,
appreciate it.
They'll send you a certificate.
Did you also see in the Naughty Dog's hiring help desk technicians? Did you see that, Cesar, in the job listings? It's part-time.
I did. I always dreamed of being listed as a IT help at the end of game credits because they are listed. So.
Friend of the show, I would say James Wong. He's a QA guy on Final Fantasy X, and he was also in. I'm gonna say this wrong. I think it was the first Red Dead Revolver. I think is one he worked on.
The one that Capcom did, that Rockstar bought.
That started with Capcom. All right, let me grab a drink real quick, and we'll hit the ground running.
Oh my God, I'm tired.
Same. I think we're all tired.
I gotta go into work tomorrow, so.
And Friday now.
Did they say when they're doing the vaccine rollout for your guys yet?
They have no plans to.
I don't think we're. Are we in one of the tiers as at our company, Brant? Do you know?
As far as I know,
no.
Nope. They have no plans to like do a mandate or rollout or anything yet through our company for our employees.
I don't think they were going to expedite us at all in any capacity.
Mine is considered a 1B role, so mine is 1B. Coming up soon.
You're next.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. I got the notification that my chance is going to be coming pretty soon. And how to sign up for it's going to be done directly at my job.
That's even easier.
Yeah, I just got to show up.
Both rounds are going to schedule both rounds?
Yes.
They used to do flu shots at our job, Brant. Do you remember those days? Or do they still do it?
They still do it because this past week was the meeting, the Change Champions meeting. They discussed it. They asked if we were going to do the COVID vaccines as if, like we did the flu vaccines. And so far, just no plans for it. So,
man, the last flu shot I got at the job, we were about to go to Florida for some training. And I remember going to get this. And it was probably my first one as an adult. Like, I had not gotten them in a while because I didn't have good insurance or whatever. And it was provided, so I was like, sure. Mm-hmm. Yo, I felt her stick my arm, and I swear to God, it went out the other side. I literally felt it go through me. I was like, holy shit. Like, I've gotten plenty of shots. My experience with needles is very lengthy. But I was like, she jammed that in my arm, and I'm looking for the end of the tip, like, over there. Like, holy shit. I was sick as a dog, too, for like a week. It fucked with me that year. In Florida.
Oh, when you
on the trip,
yeah, place,
good
right?
times. I'm getting it like as I go out the door.
When you're on the trip.
Damn, that was 14 years ago at this point. All right, y'all ready?
Hey, yeah, don't feel bad, man. I think I was thinking about something years wise. I don't remember what it was, but yeah, we can talk about it later. Start the damn thing.
Yeah.
Brant's all psyched. Look at him. He's ready to go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 100. 44 of the NOFODcast. We are No Outside Food or Drink, the Southeast premier and most prepared video game podcast of all time, audio and visual. Tonight.
And we're also divisible by 12 in this episode.
Perfectly even. Tonight we've got your review of the Resident Evil Showcase. Microsoft tried to change their Xbox Live tiers. That was quickly reversed. We'll discuss what was happening there. Tingle creator retires from Nintendo. No more tingling.
That's the only thing he created.
No more tingling in Nintendo. We're losing our vision in a blizzard. Great job there, Brant. We're on our way to crash into something, maybe. We're certainly not going to be pro skating away from anything else. I'll stop. Resident Evil 4 Remake, rumored setbacks. We have your PlayStation Plus games. I almost said PlayStation games with gold. We have your PlayStation Plus games for February. They're quite fucking good, if I do say so myself. And we have your Xbox Live games with gold for the month. Can't remember if I've seen that.
Which I wish I was actually impressed with. I was like, oh, they're actually doing something this month. And then Sony came out swinging with theirs. So I was like, oh,
yeah. Hey, they're both good. We all win, right? Just like we did in January. I'm Richard Bergman, joined tonight by Newsmaster Brant McKee.
It's my pleasure to curate the news.
You sift through all possible stories, tweets, Instagram models. You pour through a lot of content to bring us the greatest in video game news every week. And we have a recent TV table model, Cesar Concepcion II. Welcome, Cesar.
I work 60% of the time every time.
What model of TV tray would you recommend for us this week? We have a review back there. We got 2 remotes. We have a PS5 DualSense. We have a Pulse Elite headset. Brant's got his. Damn, I should have mine in the picture. Y'all fuckers got both of yours. I'm part of the club now too.
I mean, so yeah, like that is like to explain that table.
What I want to hear.
So like, there's certain bits in my day where I take this book out and then I study this book.
Ooh.
And then I do it on that table and then turn back around and start working again.
Yeah, I know somebody who just passed that about 2 months ago. If you need any brain dumps, can hook you up.
I'm just kind of reviewing over. I got it down pat now. I'm already on doing a Microsoft Azure cloud certification right now. So my transmission control protocols, yeah.
All right, gentlemen, we got a metric shit ton of news here this week. Starting with, we knew this was going to happen last week, but
happened the day after we recorded.
It's like a week old at this point. But we had a Resident Evil Direct hosted by Brittany Baum-Brocker, and it brought us a lot of Resident Evil news. Anybody got a good summary of this? Any of our Resident Evil fans? We have a title. It didn't take long.
So the main takeaways from this is that the new Resident Evil Village will be releasing on May 7th.
Is this an Animal Crossing story?
Of this year?
Oh god, there was one.
No.
Our fucking correspondent should have had it on there.
No, I specifically left it off.
Damn it, Brian! You fucking know.
I've
man.
left the island.
Shit only pops out 4 times a year.
You had one job.
How am I supposed to know for a game I don't play anymore? Yeah. What am I supposed to get my news for a game I don't play anymore? Come on.
But it'll be out May 7th on all current platforms, and what they say in this article as current gen consoles, I consider them technically now last gen consoles.
As soon as that new console comes out, that is the current gen. Are we all in agreement on that? We're not going to debate that on this podcast.
Yeah. Current gen is what's out now.
I'll defend them and say that this whole direct thing they had on there, whatever they call it, got pushed back from last year. So that's probably why. They just didn't change the language.
That is fair. Yep. I'll give them that.
Yeah, true.
But PS4 and Xbox One is dead. So long live the king.
But we got a pretty good trailer of Village, showing off a little bit of gameplay, showing off a little bit more of the story, some of the main antagonists, and then they showed us RE Verse, which comes free with your purchase of Resident
I read
Evil
that
Village.
as reverse. Am I not supposed to
And
read that as reverse?
Reverse.
It is it's got the similar title as that Hyper Dimension game, which is also titled Reverse. That's coming on PS5.
And this, I honestly don't know how I feel about it. I guess it's free, so it'll be worth
For anyone who
a try.
buys Village. Is this their standalone multiplayer they were talking about that we talked about a couple months back? This is a different thing, right?
I think this
is going to be like Mercenaries, or did they talk about it at all?
This one seems like a greatest hits of like Resident Evil characters across the whole universe, and they throw them in there, and it's like almost like a deathmatch style type game. Looks like it.
Yeah.
They haven't gone into more details about what it was or what it did. It just didn't look very different.
100 Resident Evil characters drop onto an island.
Can I even name 100? The zombies would be like.
There's a bunch of different builds of Wesker, right? Can't you have like a Wesker from each game as a character?
Bullshit. Wesker from Resident Evil 5 is the only one you need. The one that fucking teleports all over the place like a fucking vampire. I'm like.
4's battle was kind of weird too. All right, what other news did we get?
Yeah, I didn't get through 4 yet.
And then, other than that, the last thing they kind of threw at us was a demo that was available right after the show for PlayStation 5, and they said, I believe they said that don't worry, the more demos or different demos or something about the demo will come to other platforms as well.
Well, they said the true demo will come. I think this one's kind of
like a from what I understand, I haven't played it yet. I tried to download it and then send it to somebody else's PlayStation. Get out of here. But it sounds like the kitchen demo almost from the PlayStation VR. Is it a similar experience to that, or is it a little bit more to it?
It's a little bit more. It's very short. I mean, you can sit down and play it within like, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes or so.
It's a game
10 minutes,
I can beat.
Something like that. It's very brief.
How is it? You guys played it?
But it's yes,
twice. Okay,
yeah.
Brant, let's cover it in your games play.
I played it twice, and then I put it in. I put Katie in there too.
Did you use the 3D audio in the headset?
The first time I played it, I still played it with a different headset, and then as soon as I got the Pulse 3D, I put those on and redid the demo, and I could tell a difference with those Pulse 3D for sure.
They work, man. You can tell when doors are opening behind you, to the left of you, the right of you. So I'm like, oh shit. That happens when I play Resident Evil 7 also, because I can hear him walking around upstairs. I know
Mark
it's coming down
Cerny,
from
the
my
power
ass.
of the Vio. He gave this to us.
Yeah. And one thing I didn't do before until tonight, because I hadn't even thought about it, was actually go in and adjust the 3D audio settings. So now I've kind of adjusted to what I think is my level, and I want to see if there's a difference now.
Thanks for a heads up.
Yeah, I just something I completely forgot about until like a day or two after getting them, and I was like, next time I get a second, I'm gonna try to adjust it and see where I'm at.
Is it pretty easy to find in the system menu?
Yeah, you just go to system settings, and then you go down to sounds, and literally right below the option to turn on off 3D audio, it's right there is adjust 3D audio, and there's 5 different sound profiles, and it tells you pick the one that I believe is like ear level is what they say, is how they phrase it. Pick what sounds most like ear level. Did you ever
have I think you could do this with the other, like the gold and platinum and all that, but I know Cesar had the old Pulse Elites, the ones with like the super heavy bass, but you could download sound profiles per game on those, and it would tell you the game as you were cycling through them. Like I remember the one, it would say Bloodborne, and then there was like Killzone, Shooter, Action. Like it would scroll through, it would give you this like preview thing.
It'll identify, because they would identify the profiles. I think I have I think I still have mine. It's like the metal frames on the top.
Elite still, and they shake like it vibrates just for the hell of vibrating. It was like Sony's extreme answer to the Beats at the time. It was like way on the other end.
Yeah, with the bass feedback, bass extra. Bass only.
So
only
why
bass,
since
no
we're
treble.
touching on audio for a minute, with the Pulse 3D, why did they come with the dongle still? Why didn't they let go of the dongle stuff? Is there a reason for tying into that still?
I assume it's just another option. I don't know if you have to use them wired in the VR
Oh, so like
situation.
straight to the headset or into the
Yeah.
controller?
I'm not sure if you have to wire them into that little the part of the controller on the headset, or if you can just leave them wireless. I haven't tried it, but I know that's one of the things that they show in the instruction manual is using that headphone jack for the VR headset.
I think it's something to do with somebody mentioned online that pushing audio through Bluetooth is not reliable for those consoles. That's why
I've had
nobody
issues
really
with
does
them.
it.
I think I've talked about it on this podcast. Like I always had interference with something. It's like I'm looking at it like, what's wrong with this?
That's why they have the nub on there, because it's wireless. It's not Bluetooth.
That makes
that's
sense.
why.
I had nothing but issues with Bluetooth headsets with my PS4, and I gave up on it and started just using whatever corded ones I could straight to the controller. I think it documented on this podcast talking about there's a setting you can turn off where it doesn't even use it and it only routes audio through the headset. And I had good luck with the PS4 audio after that. We're talking about Resident Evil. Did we know there was going to be PS4 and Xbox One versions of this before this announcement?
They said they were going to try to put it on the PS4 and original Xbox, but they weren't making any promises.
I mean, this is an RE engine game, right? They're still using that same engine. So it should be plenty scalable. Mm-hmm. This should be fine. But I have like visions of Cyberpunk dancing in my head where the last gen version
Cyberpunk will haunt us forever.
The one that the current gen version, as we've established now in this podcast, from forever going forward. Where it kind of nukes the capabilities of it because they had to make so many different versions of it. But Capcom and CD Projekt Red, you're talking about two totally different studios there, so I don't think this is going to happen with this game.
I think the last they said when those leaks were coming out was that they were trying to do it on current gen, but they were having frame rate issues. So it just all depends on what they had to tweak to get it down there. So I think that's why they didn't want to promise it. But at this point, you kind of have to, because you don't have enough new consoles out there to push that type of exclusive and get a return on it. For as long as that game is better. Your
install base. You don't want to abandon your install base of probably 200 million between Xbox One and PS4. Possibly.
Yeah, I mean that's probably sounds
I think
about right. So.
PS4 was closing in on like 110, 120 maybe.
I wouldn't be surprised. So for the Switch, they did for 7 in Japan. So I wouldn't be surprised depending on how well Hitman and Control did. So they might do that.
Is there any prerequisites to 8? Do you have to have played any of the other ones leading into it?
7.
Yeah,
7 is the big one to have played.
I would assume because it revolves around the same character from 7.
I mean, because you have Ethan, Mia, and then Chris Redfield. Those are the 3 characters from 7 that carry over in 8.
Gotcha.
So,
all right, good one to keep in mind.
Now, don't ask me how. They already ruined it for me with the Mia thing, because don't ask me how Mia got in 8. But I guess something happens in 7, she gets in there. So,
May 7th.
But then you saw what happened with her when they showed that in the game. So,
I don't think I did.
Redfield takes her out. So, in the very beginning.
Did we know it was May 7th? Was that date new?
Yes.
Yeah.
May 7th, 2021. I should finish the quote there. So go check out the gameplay. We got all that information from The Verge. Thank you, The Verge. The next story. Okay, this was a roller coaster, and The Verge summarizes it. So basically, I don't think we need all their details. Microsoft announced in a press briefing, along with some really good Game Pass numbers. Well, you said it was Friday.
Mm-hmm. It was last Friday.
All right, so they announced all of a sudden there's going to be a change in the pricing structure for Xbox Live. Basically, there's the first one. Everything was going to double essentially. So a year's worth of Xbox Live was going to be $120, which especially in today's climate with more people than ever before playing online games, to double that barrier of entry for that ecosystem outside of Game Pass. They almost made it to where, and I'm pretty sure this was their intention, they made it almost the same price as Game Pass. Like, you were better off going ahead and doing Game Pass Ultimate, which they want people in that ecosystem. But this is just the regular old Xbox Live. Like, just pay this to get your free games with gold and to do online gaming, which you still at the time had to pay for free-to-play games like Fortnite, and somebody help me with another free-to-play game on Xbox.
Whatever that Modern Warfare equivalent of it.
Oh yeah, the one that was so huge and
Warzone.
That's it.
GTA 5 online. You name it, you got it.
So there was immediate backlash. People were freaking out, like, not cool. Middle of a pandemic, don't do this. You know, and as a goodwill gesture, I'm sure they didn't have this planned because they had already shipped these new codes to retailers, like they were already getting the cards and everything. They issued a statement. I'll read the statement. It's a better summary of everything. We messed up today, and you were right to let us know. Connecting and playing with friends is a vital part of gaming, and we failed to meet the expectations of players who count on it every day. As a result, we have decided not to change Xbox Live Gold pricing. We're turning this moment into an opportunity to bring Xbox Live more in line with how we see the player at the center of their experience. For free-to-play games, you will no longer need an Xbox Live membership to play those games on Xbox. We are working hard to deliver this change as soon as possible in the coming months, which I read later that was already in the works. Back to their quote: If you are an Xbox Live Gold member already, you stay at your current price for renewal. New and existing members can continue to enjoy Xbox Live Gold for the same price as they pay today. In the U.S., $10 or $9.99 for 1 month, $24.99 for 3 months, $39.99 for 6 months, and $59.99 for retail 12 months. Thank you. So the immediate backlash, like, this was the story for all of one day, as it was turmoil and then reversal all in one. So do you think they did the right thing? I think this is pretty straightforward.
Oh yeah. Because I think what happened before their press conference is those code cards started leaking.
Yep.
And people got confused when it said 6 months for $59.
Yep.
And then once it started making the rounds, they're like, wait a minute, that means everything's doubled. That means 124 a year. And the argument can be made that, especially with something like Game Pass around, at $59 a year now, are you really getting that value out of the games with gold we get, during the year? Is it really worth that price already? And then now they're doubling it. There are
a significant amount of people who only do the online. They don't do Game Pass, and I have somehow fallen into that where I'm just using it for Halo essentially. So,
but there's people I talked to. I mean, some people joked about it and was just like, well, I guess I'm going to get another job to support my Xbox Live Online. But there's other people that are like, man, fuck them. I'm done. I'll cancel my subscription if they're, and just like before they reversed it and redid that, the free to play is going to really be free to play. Every other place already has it like that. I mean, you went to Sony or Nintendo or Android, iOS, you could download most of these free-to-play games on their platform and not pay anything extra to play with people.
I didn't know. So, I always assumed
Xbox
Fortnite
was the only person doing that
everywhere, online included.
Oh,
I did not know that. That was news to me.
Yeah, I think the only thing they loosened up on was Netflix, right? And they got rid of that paywall for Netflix.
You used to have gold for Netflix?
On the old 360, you did, yeah.
Okay.
When we went to original Xbox One, after they had the walkbacks and stuff, they took it away from Netflix. Okay. But you used to have to have gold for Netflix, yeah.
Holy shit. Oh.
I mean, that's before now you can get Netflix on the fucking any TV ever made. And shit, maybe a washing machine if you can find a good one out there, but...
We wash a lot of clothes. It might be beneficial. I just don't stand there and watch them.
You might with the Netflix.
You can... you can alternate between Netflix and Skyrim because everything else plays Skyrim too. So
I wish my washing machine was a Maytag, like the commercial. I miss those commercials where the dude is just like sitting there juggling the dishes and the clothes and all that, where he like stays running the whole time. We talked a lot about commercials this episode. So they walked that back. Things are now more in line with what they have been for since the 360 days, as far as Xbox Live Gold structure. And between the three of us, I don't think we've ever paid full price. I know I've never paid full price for a Gold or Ultimate subscription. So those deals are out there, and I think all of us are set with PlayStation Plus for years to come.
I'm until like 2025 or some bullshit like that. I can't remember what it was. I kept every time I keep going on it for like $23. I was like, oh, okay. I just kept buying them. So I was like, for a year.
I have a PlayStation Capital One card, and it's like the PlayStation Plus is like half off all the time. So when I get enough rewards to it, I just grab it and throw it on there, and I'm never out anything. So it's like keep it going. And PlayStation Plus seems to have stepped up its game recently. I don't know what's happening, but we're gonna get to that. But damn, it's gotten good.
I think what we need to learn how to do, and I've seen people respond on Twitter, is like if we got to figure out how to do the Microsoft rewards, because I think somebody had their Microsoft rewards and they said they haven't bought like Ultimate Game Pass at all ever. They just use the rewards and keep renewing. I think they have like 3 or 4 years stacked up.
Like Bing searches and shit?
Yeah, doing like the daily bullshit on there. And when you play games on there, they, like when you open up the Game Pass, they'll give you rewards for that too. When you do like their little play 3 games a month or blah blah blah, they give you rewards for that.
Oh,
too.
I see that. And I see that on Halo.
And then you add it to your Microsoft rewards, and then the guy's like, yeah, he uses all that to buy his Game Pass. He hasn't paid for Game Pass at all. He's just been using rewards.
I need to check that out because it's doing that on Halo. Yeah. Every time I log into Halo, it's like your daily Game Pass thing is ready to turn in. I'm like, I own this game. If you want to give me that as Game Pass, whatever. But I fucking own this game. It's not a Game Pass game for me.
So once you open up your Game Pass app, there's a section in there and it says you can turn in your points, and then you turn in your points and it'll give you Microsoft rewards, and then from there you can use that to purchase the subscriptions from them. So you can essentially get all this stuff paying for nothing, depending on how far you go down that rabbit hole. So
all right, reload.
Because I took a look at it the other day, and it's like it is possible. I think it's like 21,000 points for like a certain amount of months of Game Pass. I think I'm already at like 15,000. I barely play Xbox as it is, so I'm like, if I actually sat there and played it more, I'd probably easily be able to get that.
All right, I'm re-downloading the app. I had to add it back. I haven't used it in forever. Let's see where I'm at. It might make me sign in and take forever.
I mean, you can do it as we keep going. I mean, you want to go into the next bit?
Let's do it. Microsoft Authenticator.
So the next one is, I guess I'll take it, even though might be more, since he's the Nintendo correspondent and he didn't do the fucking Animal Crossing thing. Tingle's designer.
I could do it.
You want to do this one then?
I can. I just chose this article because I thought it was hilarious that they specifically said that he was the Tingle designer when he's done other things that I thought might be a little bit more notable.
Tingled him.
He did fucking Star Fox, man. Get out of here.
So anyway, it's the Tingle designer Takeya Imamura parted ways with Nintendo after I believe it was like 32 years.
It's a lot of time in one place.
Yeah. But literally, that is the head of the article from Nintendo Life here, and then right below it in like not as bold, like smaller text, is just also known for his work on Star Fox and F-Zero.
Yep.
So
I saw him take a picture with Dylan Cuthbert recently on Twitter.
But yeah, he actually was he did a lot of the art direction on things like Majora's Mask, F-Zero,
obviously, isn't that when
Star
Tingle first
Fox.
popped up?
Yeah.
Majora's Mask. Yeah.
Yeah, he was a graphic designer on F-Zero, and he designed Fox McCloud. So I mean, but yeah, 32 years.
That's our magic number, Brand.
I mean, oh gosh, I don't know.
It's a long fucking time.
I gotta make it that far.
Gosh, 32 years sounds like a long time, but it's probably going to be, somewhere around 30 years.
It did to me. I'm 14 deep. It did to me. I'm already 14, man.
But I mean, it's going to be surreal. I mean, because from I think it was posted on his Facebook. Yeah. That he just this is my last day going to work. He took a selfie Oh, in the empty office. Guess I won't be coming back here anymore. As you'd expect, I'll miss it. And that was, really all he said. And I mean, everybody knows Miyamoto, and Reggie, and all these other names that are synonymous with Nintendo. But he's one of those that you may have not heard of. And I mean, the man worked there for 32 years, worked on several iconic properties, and brought them to life and gave them these very unique styles and art direction. So, but he's retired, and he's hopefully moving on to bigger and better things, or maybe he's just gonna fully retire and he just gets to relax now. But either way, congratulations to him.
Played a lot of F-Zero and Star Fox in my day.
I love both of those games. Good soundtracks. Tingle's designer.
Tingle's designer.
I mean, Tingle is an oddball. So
Created Captain Falcon and Fox McCloud, so Smash Brothers fans should definitely be a fan of his. The Imamura is the ship from Dead Space, isn't it? Or is it something close to that?
it is something similar to that, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think it's exactly that.
In that same presser about the vaccine, they said that they're trying to eliminate dead space in each vial to get 5 doses out of each one. I'm like, no, I've seen where this goes. Why would you do this? Don't tell people there's dead space in the vaccine vial.
It is called the Ishimura.
Ishimura.
Yeah.
Ishimura. Cesar, thank you for the live correction there.
Yeah, because that is still one of my most memorable games from anything. It's Dead Space 2, and you had to get the shot in the eye to extract the information.
It just reached its 10-year anniversary. It's now a retro game. Enjoy your favorite retro game, Dead Space 2.
I own multiple versions of that game on multiple platforms.
Actually, I have a surplus. I have an extra PS3 copy if somebody needs one. I saw it at the top of my surplus bin as I was chucking some other shit in there.
All the surplus I have I looked down there, all super expensive.
That's a good thing.
So far.
Not a dead. Yeah. Oh, it's a limited edition Dead Space 2. Which I think they all were.
There you go.
I think all of them say limited edition.
I believe so. With the online pass.
Oh God! You remember that era where you had to, if you bought a used copy, you had to pay $10 to play whatever game it was online.
Ugh.
Yeah. I mean, that's when that generation was going on for too long, and they were like, we got to figure out a way to keep making money. And everybody's online, not playing these games. So I'm like,
it was the anti-Blockbuster. Like, we got to find a way to combat this. We're not getting these sales. Gamatsu reports Vicarious Visions merged into Blizzard, fully dedicated to existing Blizzard games. So we're about to get fucked on. Brant, we were saying the same thing in 2 different manners. So Vicarious Visions, man, they've been around forever. We played a Vicarious Visions game earlier this week, and they've just been around for a long, long time. They were port masters to start with, and recently they're known for what Gamatsu points out: Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1+2. So they worked on both of those, and those are both critically and commercially successful and highly acclaimed. This quote from GameIndustry.biz says they are now fully dedicated to existing Blizzard games and initiatives. After collaborating with Vicarious Visions for some time and developing a great relationship, Blizzard realized there was an opportunity for Vicarious Visions to provide long-term support. So they've been a part of Activision since 2005, I think it is. I can't remember if it's in this story or not. But they've been under the Activision umbrella for quite some time. The game that I played was actually an Activision game as well. There's an update to the story according to a Bloomberg report by Jason Schreier, citing people familiar with the developer's plans. Vicarious Visions has been working with Blizzard since 2020 on the Diablo franchise. Oh, they've been working since 2020. That's been a hell of a long time. On the Diablo franchise, including a remake of Diablo 2. So we'll see if something comes to fruition on that. Anything else in there? This kind of sucks. I don't know. EA is EA.
Yeah.
Same enemy, right? Blizzard is known for kind of soaking these people up, and the Activision side, that is, for soaking these studios up and just kind of not do anything with them. You know, these Blizzard franchises, what are they going to get them settled in on? Is it going to be Diablo? Is it going to be some Diablo spinoff or a Warcraft expansion? Or you never know. I mean, we moan as gamers, but maybe this is stability for the studio, for these employees. So,
I mean, they mentioned in the article that after that whole Warcraft 3 Reforged, how badly that went. It seems like this is what contributed to that.
Man, I totally forget that came
idea from Activision.
I totally forget Warcraft 3 even came out.
Because I think was not well received. And I think whatever company did that, I think they said that dissolved it was that internal team in Blizzard. They said that's the whole reason why Vicarious Vision got moved in. Because I guess they liked the work they were doing on Diablo 2, and they were like, all right, let's make this change.
Vicarious Visions presents. Boom, 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 boom. Let's see what other games they worked on. They got a long history.
They did a lot of portable games. I think I remember playing Vigilante 8 on the Game Boy Color, and they did that.
I think they did that really, really good Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 for GBA, that launch title.
If I am not mistaken,
they were founded in 1990, 30 years ago, in Albany, New York. The first game was Synergist for Microsoft DOS in 1996. There's your Vigilante 8 on Game Boy Color, Spider-Man on Microsoft Windows, Barbie Magic Genie Adventure for Game Boy Color. There it is, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 for PlayStation. And for Game Boy Advance. They did the Crash Bandicoots for Game Boy Advance, Frogger Advance, Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Outcast on GameCube and Xbox. Where's the game that I was mentioning I played? Crash 2 in Trance. That was a Game Boy game. I thought they worked on that Crash reboot, but I don't see it on here. Maybe I messed up on that one.
I think it was that Toys for Bob or something like that were the ones that did it.
Yeah, I was thinking they worked on Crash Nitro Kart for Xbox.
No, you go to the bottom. They're down there. Crash Bandicoot and Insane Trilogy.
They did do that one.
They're down there.
Shrek 2. That'll be in my games played, but they worked on Shrek 2. Over the Hedge. So a lot of licensed stuff. Guitar Hero. I forgot they got roped in all the Guitar Hero stuff.
Oh yeah, when they overmoked
kind of right there alongside Neversoft almost. And then a lot of Skylanders games. Destiny 2 as a support team for Bungie. After Bungie went under that umbrella. That's interesting. Canceled games. Untitled Crash Bandicoot game 2012. So they already had some. They were already working with it some until then. Oh, they did the port of Doom 3 to the Xbox, which is kind of a technical showcase for the original Xbox.
And we never got their Guitar Hero 7. Could have kept with my 7's theme.
Year of the 7th. Call of Duty Roman Wars. What the fuck was that going to be? 2008. That was canceled. What was that going to be?
I don't know, man. That's very Assassin's Creed-y like.
Yep.
So.
All right. We wish the best of luck to Vicarious Visions employees now roped into Blizzard properties and not full Activision properties. May they forever have work to do and bring us quality entertainment. What can you say? Who wants to take this Resident Evil 4 remake rumor? It's a tongue twister.
I can go briefly over without having to read it. It's basically there was some disagreement within internally at Capcom with M2, who did the Resident Evil 3, about the direction they wanted to take the game. Where M2 wanted to be more faithful to the original, and where Capcom wanted to do some changes like they did with Resident Evil 2 and expand upon certain aspects of the game like they did with Mr. X. Yeah. That wasn't originally there. To kind of like
just
surprise
to clarify,
people.
This is not the infamous Portmaster M2. This is M-TWO.
Yes.
I had to reread it myself.
So M2, I'm just gonna keep calling it M2. M-2 doesn't matter. They were the ones that handled the Resident Evil 3 remake, which is kind of a mixed bag for some people. But yeah, that's essentially what it's about. And so now they're moving the development internally into Capcom. I think they said supposedly this game will be probably pushed back another year or two. And they didn't say about what was already done and if they're keeping anything that was already done with them. So, because I mean, they were doing this with in accordance with that studio anyways. It just that studio was just providing support to M-2. That was the only difference. Now that studio is doing the main development for it. So. Which I think it was, there we go. It's Capcom's Consumer Games Development Division 1. And this is all from Gematsu from Sal Romano.
Thank you, Sal, for the news.
He builds our news every week along with Brant. They sit in the room together.
Y'all hash everything out. You go through all the Instagram models and everything.
Yep.
Skype calls and they're like, all right, we're going to talk about this week.
Get out your Pulse 3D headset.
Got to meet with him and... Yep.
All right, next up, we have your Games with Gold and PlayStation Plus titles. We have, like, non-stop good lists. We didn't do this Games with Gold list last week. It's been that recent.
Mm-mm.
You would have been like, oh, Gears 5, a great one. I mean, I already know what you would have said. And you didn't say that at all last week. We were all about the Isle of Tims last week.
That's on Game Pass and fucking Isle of Tims. That demo comes out tomorrow. Please tell me everybody's downloading it.
I read that article from Michael Fay from Kotaku where he's like, you got to jump on the Tims, ? Tims. I was like, you're jumping on Tims? What the fuck is happening?
There. We already did that joke last week. Mike Fahey.
We are in peak 2021 already with just one game. And it comes out soon.
I read one preview, and I didn't even read it. I just read the caption. It said, Balan Wonderland or Wonderworld. I think it's Wonderworld. Has a lot of Sonic Adventure and a lot of knights in it. And I was like, fuck yes. Sign me up. I can't remember who's...
You saw that the nice guy's making this with him also with Yuji, so it's like they're treating this like a successor to Nice in some aspects. So.
Fahey's in Atlanta, man. We need to get him on our podcast and rope him into the Southeast Premier Video Game Podcast. I like me some Fahey. He's been there forever.
By geographic location.
We will absorb you. We'll start spreading out. So your games for February with Games with Gold. This comes from the official Xbox Wire news blast. From February 1st through 28th, which is the whole month, you get Resident Evil, the remake, or I guess the port of the GameCube. That was remade after the GameCube one, right? Didn't they touch it up as an HD one?
This was a port of the GameCube one, that GameCube remake.
But it's HDified, just like PS3 and all that stuff.
This is like, hey, you can play this in 1080p now, and it doesn't look like shit.
Hey, careful. Doesn't look like
shit on HDTV.
Display. There we go. Thank you, Cesar.
Yeah, there we go. HDTV now, come on.
Dandara Trials of Fear Edition is your game from March 16th to March 15th. So that's your mid-month one. Also all month is Gears 5, which was my game of the year last year, if I remember right. That's a good-ass game. Brand, if you never touched that one, definitely highly recommend. Keeping on our Indiana Jones theme from last week, you can get Indiana Jones and the Emperor's Tomb from the original Xbox from February 1st through February 15th. This is a very good game. Highly recommend. The upscaled efforts on the backwards compatibility team are really good. And Lost Planet DOS from February 16th through February 28th. These are all really good games. I don't know much about Dandara Trials of Fear. Are you familiar with that one, Brant?
No.
But again, another super strong month. They quit doing the whole, like, here's your value for the month. I always like seeing that, like, where they would say, here, oh, no, there it is, with $105 in value and 5,060 points in gamer score. So pretty strong month all around. You already got Gears 5 in Game Pass, so that might be the highlight for these people who were complaining about having to pay $120 a year for gold, so they got rewarded.
I mean, remember this list came out before they were like doing that price increase, so I guess they're like, see.
But they're finally stepping it up, man. I know we covered this ever since the podcast started. We've gone over what your games were with those subscription services because we've subscribed to them, and a lot of people do just to play online. So this is like an added bonus. And there have been some months where it's just like, what the fuck? Who came up with these titles? And even like in the old, when we were still getting like PS3 and Vita titles before they cut that out, which we bemoaned on this very podcast. You'd get some stuff and it's just like, oh God, why? Sure, I'll throw that license on there because there might be some curiosity years down the road, but not right now. Very strong month from Xbox. Everybody agree? Pretty good.
It's the best one in a while.
Strong list.
I thought it was really good, and then I saw the PlayStation Plus games, and I was like, oh shit.
Brant, what is on there that really blew your socks off?
So our PlayStation Plus games for February were all games I was actually thinking about within the past like few weeks. So I think, let's see, starting February 2nd to March 1st, we get Concrete Genie on PS4, Control Ultimate Edition, which will be both for PS4, and you get the PS5 upgrade. And then the last one is Destruction All-Stars, which is that new completely like PS5 exclusive game.
It's a games as a service type game.
Yeah. And along with that, they posted a state of play for Destruction All Stars, just kind of showing off how the game is, and it looks like one of those. I mean, you get several people in a round, and it's running around outside your car, inside your car, wrecking shit, get special power-ups.
We are going to play this together, right?
Multiple different cars. I'm hoping we will. It's free. I mean, my only concern is like, oh, well, this one was free and it's a PlayStation only title. Bugsnax was free and it was a PlayStation only title. But I think this one already to me looks more in my avenue than
we all fell off of Bugsnax pretty quick. Right?
Yeah, pretty quickly.
I can't say for certain. I haven't started it yet. I downloaded it, so I don't know. But you know, you look at me. I play weird shit, so I don't know. I'm not gonna speak to you.
I like weird shit too, and it was not for me. I see the appeal. It just was not for me.
It's great that we're getting Control Ultimate Edition.
Yes.
I wonder how some people will receive it, because they had that whole thing we talked about several months ago where if you originally bought in, you weren't going to get the upgrade to free Ultimate Edition, and then it did get upgraded on some people's PlayStation accounts to the Ultimate, and then they took it back, and then now we're getting it for free on PlayStation Plus. So
on PS4 and PS5,
I don't know. I'm just
the Ultimate version, that is.
Yeah. I'm just glad because I haven't played that game yet, and I
on my radar too.
I wanted to get the Ultimate Edition, and then now I do. I get it for free, and then I've completely just keep going back and forth on Concrete Genie. I'm like, yeah, I need to get that game. I need to pick it up. I need to play it, and then
also
I bought a physical copy.
Another one,
Brant, Cesar, and Michael were raving about it, so.
I platinum that game. It's very easy platinum.
But those are our PS Plus games for February, and they all are great titles.
Winners all around on both platforms. Strong lineup.
Yeah, on both platforms. They really did good for this coming month.
I would. My assumption is also Control Ultimate Edition. It keeps getting rumored for Game Pass. Isn't the regular Control in Game Pass?
Yes, I don't know which one is on PC. I don't know if the Ultimate is on PC.
I don't think it is. I think it's regular.
There's some confusion around that.
So good that that game that kind of slid under the radar for so many people is going to be out there for access to a lot of folks. So I know Brant and myself are two of those. So that's all right. I know you're going to queue it up on PS5 too and see how it looks.
I'll play through it again.
I remember you being stuck on one
it's got
battle a couple weeks in a row, and us talking about it on the podcast. You were like, "Fuck this room." Apparently, the save states,
Look,
the save areas, were kind of offset, and it was screwing with you.
It fucking threw me back so far, and it's like there was one bit where I had to kill so many people to get to where I was at, and it's like I had to go through all that shit again. But I mean, that literally has that's probably one of the best level design games I've ever played in my life. And that one bit where you have to put on the headphones and listen to that song and go through like a ever-turning maze. That is probably one of those memorable moments of gaming I ever had.
We'll look forward to that then.
It's a lot of fun.
Did they fix some of the save issues with the Ultimate Edition, or is it more lenient maybe?
That I do not know. I haven't played the Ultimate Edition yet, which I think it would just be the fucking season.
I was about to say, that's just all the DLC included, right?
Right. I think the only thing different is like that the extra work they did on these next gen upgrades. That's it. Whatever the consoles have for them, they upgraded them for that. So like the activity cards and DualSense and all that shit.
That is a pretty neat upgrade for PS5, especially for us PS5 owners. All right, 45 minutes in. We want to go to games played. Am I kicking us off again? Are y'all ready for another segment of games my kids played?
Yeah, they're games played, so
it is. I had to set it up. I had to set them up in Proctor, the administration of the games. Somebody actually told me this past week that they look forward to games my kids are playing. It was another dad, so that means a lot. It is what gets played in this household, so that's part of it. 2 weeks ago, I was not able to get in a Halo Saturday night, but we got it in this past Saturday night. It wasn't a super late one. A friend of the show, Jeremy, has banned us from doing the 4 o'clock Halo. It destroyed him 2 weeks ago, and rightfully so. The rest of us as well. So no more of those. We didn't do any more Reach campaigns, so it was still just our Halo 1 bullshit that we get into, and people are still figuring out the meta of that one room where they try to take it from us, and we actually got beat on that room, so it's fun for it to be something that we're like really good at, we kind of define, and then someone beats us at our own game, like they figured out, and then they take it and they end up winning the round. So it's like, okay, props to you.
And they own it. They're like the mayor of that room now.
Props to you. You figured it out. You deserve this. Shout out to the Fossil Warrior. We keep fighting against the Fossil Warrior. He's on there every night, and I invite him to our party, and he never accepts. So Fossil Warrior 56, if you're out there. We play Halo every weekend at the same time. You accepted my friend request. I know your real name, but you should at least join our match every once in a while.
I'm sure every time he gets, he's like, this fucker here.
It's like, I'm not playing with you bitches. Even though the game has randomly assigned him to us on occasion. So he does know the meta, like he'll be in there with us and figure it out. But good times remain on Halo. Season 5 started yesterday. A friend of the show, Russell, and I tried to get in around today at lunch, but there was a 10 gig update, so immediately, I don't know what it is. Awesome. Like I have everything set up to set up to download in the background. It does for just about everything, but it's like these. It almost seems like there's another tier of updates, like these title updates. So this was a season, and I remember this with Warzone when I had Warzone in my. I kept downloading that on every system. I've still never played a round of Warzone, but it seems like with Halo,
none of us have.
I seen it on your PlayStation. You never played it with a friend of the show, Renee?
I think I played with you, but that was when they included it with whatever Call of Duty we got that year.
It was called like Blackout then. It wasn't even Warzone, and Warzone's big shit now.
I think it was the Blackout. That's the one. That's the only one I played.
That was fun. We had fun with it on the vehicles and shit. But so I guess with this being a seasonal update, which resets all the Halo bucks as we refer to them, it was a 10 gig download, and I guess Halo is way down on their server list because servers were like super fucking slow. So it was what it was. We couldn't get any of those in today, but look for a Halo update next week. We'll see how I spend my Halo bucks.
After surprised your shit didn't already download and install. That sucks.
It like I said, I have everything set up. It does the normal ones, like the little regular patches and shit like that. But for some reason, these title updates that I term them, I guess, when the seasons switch over, you have to like manually trip those off for some reason, and it sucks.
it may be because of data size and all that shit. They don't want it sneak up on people like, well, why did I download 100 gigs overnight? And now I'm at my data
just
cap.
10, but I get that. It just like when you're hyped for it and you plan for it and I guess I should have checked beforehand, but like you plan for lunch and stuff like that to get the whole hour in. Like, all right, I'll head down. We'll get an hour in, and then I'll head back upstairs. To try to pack in the full lunch break. It sucks to immediately, because the game acts like it's booting, and then it kicks you out, and it's like this game must update. You must close the game before the game gets. I'm just like, God damn it! And I look at it, and I hope it's gonna roar up, and then I'm pulling down 200 megs, and I'm like, fuck yeah! And then that was a Freudian slip. Then I see it at 2, and it goes from you're ready to play in 8 minutes to you're ready to play in 4 hours and 30 minutes, and it's just like, fuck this! I'm just gonna do something else. So actually pivoted this week, or today it was. And last week I talked about wanting to play Metroid Prime for some ungodly reason. And in the past week, Retronauts, one of my favorite podcasts, it's Jeremy Parrish, Nadia Oxford, Bob Mackey, and they'll get some various guests on. Like this, for the Metroid Prime episode, they had a guy from Brave Wave Studios that does like game soundtracks and things like that. Muhammad, I should have his last name. I follow him on Twitter now. It was Muhammad something. And the way they talked about Metroid Prime, if you've ever listened to a Retronauts episode, they do some backstory of the game, the development behind it. They talk about their experience with the series, if it's a noted series. So they would talk about, okay, I was introduced with Super Metroid. I like the first Metroid. Metroid Prime was my first Metroid game, that kind of stuff. So I always like Retronauts. I highly recommend them. But they were waxing poetically over Metroid Prime, and I can remember like pre-ordering this game and getting it and taking it home, and I called my friend at the time, and we were playing through at the same time. Like I'm holding the phone, the big old house phone, and trying to play GameCube as we compare like where we're at the time. But I started that up today, and I made it to the first save spot, so I'm still in the frigate in the very beginning. Man, the atmosphere in that game. Brand, I tried to talk you into a playthrough with me, but I think Cesar's waiting for the trilogy to come out on Switch. I know. Well, we all know it's coming. It's inevitable. As soon as I get deep into this shit, the trilogy is coming. Brought to you by Vicarious Visions. But the atmosphere in this game is just like it's just steeped in this lore, and so much of the story. Like I had forgotten my first couple playthroughs. I'm just kind of playing it as an adventure game, more or less. But you can scan so much shit. Like when you start off, it starts off like most Metroid games where you have all of Samus's abilities. So you have the max suit, you have missiles, you have a great power beam, you have I can't remember what it's called, but you like power up the power beam and it'll draw shit to you. So if you have like missile things that you've gotten from Space Pirates or health or whatever, it'll like pull it towards you, kind of like a gravity thing. And so you start off super powered on this frigate. And you can scan, there's a scan visor. You hit left on the D-pad, and you can scan anything in the environment that has a little icon on it, and it'll give you a snippet of what it's about, whether it be a door that tells you, okay, this is going to the airlock chamber, or an enemy. I'll open a room and scan an enemy, and it'll say, like, Space Pirates, minimal life signs recognized, or some shit like that. So I know that one's not dead, even though he's crumpled on the floor. So I could start shooting at him when I get close enough to him. But there's just so much like lore steeped into reading these, and it's better than, like Medal of Honor. You would find a clipboard or something to read a little bit about the level, or what was happening there, or, like some Nazi propaganda or something that would add to the story that way. But with the scan visor, it just gives you, it's nonstop, man. I've been scanning nonstop shit in this frigate, and it adds so much more to the atmosphere and the lore. And they tell you that Samus chased them from Zebes, the planet the Space Pirates came from, and it hints at there being still some Metroids left over somewhere. But I'm halfway through that. I know at the end of this, before you get to the true planet that you're headed to, that they'll take your armor and all that stuff away. But man, it's good as shit. And I'm playing on a CRT, and it's freaking gorgeous, man. It looks so damn good. Brant's looking for his copy of Days Gone while we're talking about Metroid Prime. Brant, fired up, man. Let's play with me. Put on that Toshiba. I know it's going to look good as shit. What do you have a copy of Metroid Prime on anything?
Yeah, I believe
that's what you were hunting for
back there.
Man, just fired up, and it plays so buttery smooth. The cutscenes, the gameplay, everything's like 60 frames per second, and it's freaking gorgeous. It never slows down, even with like
Oh, yeah.
particle effects and vents coming out, and it's such a strong. The original Metroid took so many cues from Alien, and that sense of isolation, and it is not a shooter, despite it being first person. And I had to kind of grapple with this, and I did a lot of research, like, do I want to play through the trilogy version on Wii, and do I want to play the GameCube one? And it controls so well on GameCube. That's what it was designed for. There's a lot of arguments out there for the Wii version. You really can't go wrong, whatever you can get your hands on. But this is the one that I wanted to fire up on this particular CRT. I didn't want to go through that bullshit of, I think, Cesar, we talked about last week, you had a loose physical copy. And I might try that out, but I'm just going to roll with this one. It looks awesome on my CRT, and it plays super smooth, and it's not meant to be, of that era. That era is of the two dual analog sticks for controls. You got Halo, you got Time Splitters, you got Killzone, you got all these great. That's when the first person shooter really developed that, move around with the left stick, pan with the right stick. You don't do that at all with Metroid Prime. You're moving around with the left stick only, almost GoldenEye style, and then you lock onto things and either scan them, shoot them, whatever. But it's so well designed, and it plays out so well that you never miss that second stick. Like, I haven't felt like, man, if I had this other control input. And the Wii does that. And the Wii will have you sliding all around. And it has its perks. And I don't think I played that one long enough to really dive into that. But again, there's no wrong way to play this. So that's Metroid Prime. I'm halfway through that frigate mission. I got to the first save space. So I haven't fought that space pirate boss yet. The space larvae, I think. It's like this big thing in there. But it's very cool scanning stuff, and it tells you, like, no life signs detected, or minimal life signs detected. It's like something in this glass container. You just see this thing levitating, and it looks like it's preserved, and it says minimal life signs detected. I'm looking at that case like, oh, shit. What do you mean by minimal? Like, recently minimal or pending minimal? Like, this
I was looking at the corner of your eyes when you're looking at
I'm shooting the door to exit, like, don't fucking come out of here right now. But I've played this opening level so many times, so it's just a matter of going through the... Do what?
We all have. The next part is the hardest part. That's where I always fall off.
Yep, when you get to Talon 4 and diving into all that stuff. Because that's when the true Metroid stuff kicks in, where you see a door and it's locked by missiles, and you're like, I just got stripped of missiles. I don't fucking have them yet. I can't get up there. Or you don't have double jump or something like that yet. So, good-ass game, man. Super, super great music. This is my original copy from pre-ordering in 2001 or 2002, whenever it was. I think it came out in 2002, actually. But I highly recommend. It's a masterpiece. I do want this to come out for Switch, a trilogy of these titles in some capacity.
Trilogy!
Or if not Switch, something else. When is the Metroid 35th? Is that next year? Speaking of which, did anybody get that $10 off a Mario game thing from Best Buy? Did anybody get that email?
I did.
You did? Fuck.
I believe so.
I did not get it. I'm wondering what I missed out on. $10 off a Mario game, so you get the Bowser's Fury for $50 instead of $60. Which, it'll be $50 at Walmart, so take your gamble. Kids updates. The kids are still playing Crash Wrath of Cortex. They beat the first world. I don't know how it happened. I helped them with a couple bits of one level. There's one level where, what is running after you? It's not a dinosaur. It might be like a T-Rex or... that's still a dinosaur. It's a dragon. Because it's called Of Wizards and Lizards is the name of the episode, of the name of the level. And
are they still in the second one is what they started with?
Nope. So I recovered a CRT. I sent a picture to Brant 2 weeks ago of a CRT that I rescued from the dump. And so we hooked an Xbox up to it last week. And
okay.
So I've limited them to, because they'll go in my game room and they're just going over shelves. And they're just looking around at stuff. They're like, I want to play this, I want to play this, I want to play this. And one of the games is one of the ones they picked. But I'm like, no, the Xbox is hooked up. That's what I tried out with this TV. You got to pick one of these games. So they do like Wrath of Cortex, the Xbox Crash. Well, it came out on PS2 and GameCube as well. And is that one Vicarious Visions? That one's Traveler's Tales actually made that game.
Yep.
And it's
right.
It's a good Crash. I know at the time people were tired of that formula, but it plays like the frame rate is flawless. There's really cool graphical effects where you see Crash, like when he's on the ice, you see the reflection of him. It plays super smooth, and it almost seems like that generation's best iteration of like Crash 1, 2, and 3. Like they did a great job of making a next Crash. They actually called that one Crash Bandicoot 4 in Japan before we got the It's About Time. But they beat the first world. Go ahead.
A lot of confused people in Japan when that fourth one came out on PS4.
I bet it did. What was it titled? Was it titled that over there?
It's Crash 4 also over there, yeah.
Hey, we dealt with Final Fantasy 3 and 4 and 6 and all that shit, so y'all can get used to the Crash Bandicoots. It's not near as bad
Dragon
as the
Warrior.
Final Fantasy bullshit we had to fight with.
Dragon Warrior as well.
That too.
And we're on Dragon Quest.
That too. Y'all bitches had Dragon Quest since the OG days. We had it Dragon Warrior for 20 years.
Bad 80s movie title.
It is. Welcome to the Thunderdome. Dragon Warrior Thunderdome. So they actually beat the first world. Neither one of them can read well. One of them is learning their letters very well. The other one is putting together reading decently enough. I'm trying to use games as a teaching mechanism for this, especially new game, load game, and save game, because they made the mistake of beating the first world and then save gaming over instead of load gaming, and deleted their save and had to go back through. They had to go back through the first world.
Were they devastated?
No. It was just like
I didn't think they would be.
It was a matter of, I thought we were on the next level, and then they decided that a couple of those levels in the first world they actually really enjoy, so they just did them again. Like I said, it was either last week or a couple weeks ago. Like they make a meta inside the game. They like if there's penguins and there's skates, they're gonna find a way to like try to skate around the penguin so many times before getting hit. Like they just make games out of the levels. Because a friend of the show, Shane, he said those games are hard. Are they good at them? And I was like, they don't really care. It's funny ways when he dies and his shoes fly up in the air and he freezes and the penguins get them and they just laugh their asses off and go at it again. They don't care. It's not a win or lose state for them. Or, I'm urging them on, like, beat this level, get the crystal. When you get all 5, then you get the boss, then you go to the next world, and they don't give a shit. They just like skating around the penguins and seeing Crash die in these crazy ways. And that the level I was talking about with the dragon, it's one of the ones where he's running towards the camera. So it becomes this game of like trying not to trip over the nitro boxes and just random shit, man. They love it. So that's Wrath of Cortex. The other game they picked out is the Cat Mario game, which is Super Mario 3D World, of course, on the Wii U, which is the only...
I'll never get re-released, ever.
Not yet. It hasn't been re-released yet. We just spoke of that for Best Buy. Some Best Buy deal that certain people got. I did not get. Cesar apparently got. But they do not do as well with this game with Crash, because Crash they trade off when they die. But in Super Mario 3D World, as Brant was talking about with the Sackboy's Adventure game, somebody more or less controls the camera and is the leader of how the level plays out. So there's much fussing and discussing amongst the two of them as to who is playing correctly and who is not. And then
I miss those days with my brother. Yeah. You're fucking doing it wrong. I'm like, how do you mean? Yep. I haven't died yet. I'm like, how the fuck did I do it wrong?
Why did you get the crown? How did you get the crown? That's what I hear. Or come back. Give me the cat suit. I want the cat suit. That's what I hear. So next time they play Cesar, I will call you and I'll set the phone down and you can relive those same memories and you can just hear it.
You gotta feel it for my brother because we grew up playing Double Dragon, so you know what happened to him a lot.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, I'm sure. Okay, so he actually had a right to bitch like he did. Fuck you and your Double Dragon strategies.
I was like, I didn't mean to kick you off the cliff.
Yeah, sure. We're supposed to be going to the right, and you came all the way over here to kick me off the cliff. I'm sure that was an accident.
that great animation as you fall down to your death.
Oh, so they played some Super Mario 3D World on the Wii U. Still looks good. That's a good-ass looking game. I almost wish I could hold off on this re-release if they release that Bowser's Fury on Wii U. I know that's not gonna happen, but if it was like a $5, I'm serious, man.
You're like the fucking people who wanted that Rise of the Tomb Raider backwards compatible on Xbox One. I was like, no, I don't want the new one. Fucking put that shit backwards compatible.
What do you mean those people? I'm one of those people. I voted for Rise of the Tomb Raider backwards compatibility, even though I had a physical copy of the Xbox One version. They did God's work on that game. It looks incredible.
Mm-hmm.
They had no business running that game on Xbox 360. Because it was what? Holy shit. It was 10 years old at that point, that hardware? That hardware was old when it came out in 2005. So you're talking probably 12 or 13-year-old hardware they got that masterpiece running on. All right, they played some Super Mario 3D World. I played Metroid Prime and Halo. I think that's it for my games played. Anything bizarre? I tried to download the Maiden demo and it sent it to somebody else's PlayStation. So
that's pretty funny.
Yep. This is what we talked a couple of weeks ago about the morality of having someone sign into your PS5 and getting the instant collection games. That's the one it sent the copy of Maiden to, even though he only has a PS4. So I don't know. I'm reaping what I sow at this point, I guess.
This is weird because normally, like if I go into the app, that fucking notification comes up like, oh, make sure this PS5 is your main console. I'm like, it's just the only one on there. So I'm like, there's not even a PS4 in my account.
I picked PS5 and it said Highway 81 Beast. There's my PSN profile, listeners. You may follow me, add me as friend. Doesn't matter.
But does it list your PS4 one on there as well?
Nope.
No, just the PS5.
Because since they redid the app, I only have the PS5 on there.
That app's been nutty as shit. Because like I've been opening it up and like you played murder something. Like, I haven't played this shit. And I'm sitting there clicking on it and it takes me to another game I played. It's like it's glitchy as shit. Yeah, unless something else is going on back there.
That's all that happened. Because I bet if I fire up my PS5, I bet it's sitting there. Even though he got the notification, he sent me a text immediately. You downloading shit to my PlayStation? I was like, not intentionally. Is it Resident Evil? Yeah. I don't think it's gonna play on your PlayStation.
I mean, how it plays is what you should have
said. just a bit of advice. I don't think it's gonna work. I think Brant froze. He's just looking smugly at me. There he is.
See, for me, you froze.
Brant, you had this skeptic ass look. You were like,
I didn't see your ass for a minute. I was like, damn, he's like, it was just me and Richard talking. And I was like, what the fuck?
Brant, you were looking skeptical as fuck. Like you were judging the shit out of both of us. Oh, those are all my games played, including sending a game to a friend of the show, Jerome. Who is next on games played?
Mine's pretty simple. I can do mine real quick. I think on PS5 front, I think I've just been continuing my venture with Robotic Notes Dash. I mean, there's not really much. I'm not going to go into much details about it. I'll talk more about it on length once I get done with the game. It's easier to talk about visual novels that way.
I keep seeing that for sale. What exact SKU is that keeps popping up?
It's the double pack, so it includes the first game that came out in 2013 and the new one that came out in 2019.
Is that a good deal? Is that a good value?
Yeah, because I think originally it was like $49 or $59 when it came out.
Cool.
Yeah, but usually those Spike games drop in price pretty quickly. So, outside of that, I mean, I'm just at the point now where I'm starting to see the bigger picture in the story starting to unfold, and it does connect very like that new Robotic Notes is very. I guess the best word to say is very Marvel-esque, where you have to play the other games to know what the fuck is going on. It's not like a separate story anymore, where they kind of like did it the first one. Like they interconnect a lot of the shit from Chaos Child in there and Chaos Head and Steins Gate, because like one of the main characters is a Steins Gate character in this game that you play as him, and so that's the only thing that kind of really turned me off, because I really enjoyed the characters from the first game, and you don't play the main character from the first game as your main character. Like Kai, you don't play as him. You play as Hashida.
But there is that prerequisite of needing to play one of those other titles.
Yeah, because I'm enjoying it a lot more, because I know now they're messing with a machine that's putting delusions in people's head, and that's something that they dealt with in the Chaos games. And so that's something they didn't even fucking deal with in the Steins Gate series. So it's like all this shit's kind of started to turn into this one connected universe now at this point in that game.
I feel like that's something I deal with every day. Machine put something in my head.
It's funny.
It's too true.
The art was because I've talked about Chaos Head, or Chaos Child, and the whole point of Delusions is that it uses the negative space in your mind, and if you put whatever ideas that you fantasize, it kind of puts inside the dead space in their head.
There we go. That fucking dead space, so, just like the vials.
It actually generates a actual like a hallucination type deal. Like whatever you see is there, but it's not actually there. But it's the point where you think it's there. So like if you see like a giant monster attacking you, and it feels like it's there, you can feel like the wind from it, but it's not really there. But it causes your body to panic and run, or do anything. And you take the chance that you believe something that's not there, and you believe that it's real, that you can actually kill you. You hurt yourself basically. So it kind of fucks with your head.
If you're killed in the Matrix, you're killed in real life.
This is true. So they say. I'm not sure what happened in the third one. I don't know if they changed the rules in that one or not, but you let me know.
I've seen the second one time. That's it.
Burn. All right. Outside of that, the only other game I played on the PS5 was I went ahead and played the Cyber Shadow. I put like an hour or two into it. And that game is fucking Ninja Gaiden with a different name. So I mean, you basically, this guy who wakes up in the tube and he remembers some kind of attack that destroys his body, and he wakes up as like this android ninja now.
It looks like The Messenger to me. Does it play like The Messenger?
It plays like fucking Ninja Gaiden.
Oh.
It's to the point where like it starts out easy, and then I'm getting to like these weird jumps, and like these fucking bat-like things are hitting me, and I'm falling off cliffs. It's fucking Ninja Gaiden.
Do.
Yep. Bullshit thing. Bullshit thing, man. It's like it starts out. The difficulty is pretty good. It's like you start out going, it's not that bad, but as you go through, the difficulty does build, man. And I still remember to this day fucking Ninja Gaiden where I got to the cliffs and I had to jump across, and these bats will fly down, and the bats will hit you, and you fall immediately to the cliff. There's no point where you get like that hit where you're like invisible for a little bit to kind of recover. It sits straight to the cliff right behind you. I mean, so that is similar to that aspect of that gameplay. So as you go through in the story, it gives you bits more of the story, like you're trying to figure out like what the last thing happened, and you got this robots following you around telling you that everybody's in danger. And as you go through, it gives you different runes where you can do different puzzle type attacks. So like you have these giant monsters and you have to dodge stuff. Like they'll throw these different set of bombs and bullets at the same time, and you have to like read the movements, and then you got to go in there and slash a couple of times and jump back out. You get your one window, you got to go back out and wait for it many times.
It's like bullet hell.
So as you go through, you get like these different containers to unlock abilities. I haven't unlocked my first ability yet. I think that one's coming up soon. But yeah, I've played maybe about an hour or two in that one. It's pretty good. I mean, I think the thing I'm most impressed about is I'm doing 120 frames per second. And that game is fucking smooth.
Nice.
It's nice. Yeah, even for like a 8-bit / 16-bit looking game, it is smooth on 120 frames per second. It's hard for me to go back, man.
I think it's also on Game Pass.
It is. Mm-hmm.
It is.
Yep. So if everybody wanted to try it out, you can get it off on Game Pass. That is also available. It was available Tuesday, I believe. So on Game Pass. The only other thing I played on PlayStation outside of that is I've been going through my Devil May Cry playthroughs, and I'm.
You sent me a message earlier this week that said, fuck Devil May Cry Uno.
Fuck that shit, man. Well, this game is like you said, it's a testament to the time. So you can see like you mentioned before in the previous podcast, like way back in the day, you can see the Resident Evil influence is kind of like they did the same thing with Onimusha, where like there's certain aspects in there where you have to get keys and just the pre-render backgrounds where, you know, that this could have been a Resident Evil type game. But this one is broken down. I mean, there's not much in the story, and I'm sure somebody's screaming at me from somewhere in the world like, you bitch, there's a story in that game. And I was like, well, I'm pretty sure it all wraps up nicely.
You're playing the game wrong. That's my
once
favorite.
I get to the end of it. So, because it doesn't give you much on there, but it breaks each like mission down into smaller bits. So, like I think I'm on mission 14 out of 28, so I'm halfway through the game. And so, like, each one is like they'll give you like a time limit, and they don't show you the time limit. So if you beat it within a certain amount of time, you'll get a certain amount of orbs as a bonus. But it's like they're like small little chunks. So it's something you could play. Like if you got the Switch version, it's kind of like playing something episodic. So you can do mission 1, and it'll take you maybe like 5 minutes, and then you can put it down, come back and do mission 2, and they'll take you another like 5 minutes, depending on your level of skill and difficulty. Because like when you get to the bosses, that's where the bullshit happens. Like where I'm fighting the fucking Arachnid for like 85th time. I mean, there's one where I beat his ass and I had to go running down the hallway, Crash Bandicoot style, like I'm running towards the screen. and the fucker's just lobbing meteors at me, and I'm like, it's like I don't know what to do, man. I'm sitting here panicking in a corner, so I'm like, you just had to get in the door and he'll disappear, and it's like it's bullshit like that. But I mean, it's nothing super difficult. So it's like some of it you have to do trial and error. So as I get different weapons, I'm sitting here like I'm attacking somebody with a sword and it does no damage, and then you get the Ifrit gauntlets later on where it's kind of like it's just using his fist with gauntlets and it's with the powers of Ifrit fire base. And so you have to kind of like switch some weapons around because it's not like a regular game where you can do hack and slash where you just fucking just choose one weapon and just go through it as many times as you want and just get to the end of the game. There's some strategy, like some bosses, some enemies require you to swap weapons. So it's like you have to sit there like I'm fighting the fucking Reaper guy with giant scissors like for 20 fucking minutes, and I didn't realize, if I just switch my weapon out, he'll be dead in like 2 seconds. So it's like there's stuff on there it wants you to try and it forces you to try. But I mean, the level design on there is fun, and it after a while it starts out kind of slow, but I mean it's picked up now to the point where it keeps pulling me in there. It's not too difficult as I thought it was going to be because I was using up a lot of yellow orbs because I was like, the yellow orbs basically bring you back to life without having to start the mission over, and that means that, like a lot of times if I'm halfway through the mission, it's kind of sucks because I mean you're just going through rooms where enemies will constantly respawn. So like if you leave the room to go do something, and they have these like hunter characters from like Resident Evil, they're an enemy in there. So and you go back in there, they repopulate, so you got to fight them again, or you got to keep running. So it depends on your decision on what you want to do. So
this is the HD collection of Devil May Cry.
Yeah, and this is only the first one on the HD collection. This one you can do on PS4, Xbox One, and then Switch, depending on which way you want to play it, or PC even. So I mean, there's many and multiple ways to play it. So yeah, I'm at this point. The only thing you really know story-wise is that a young lady named Trish comes and meets Dante at his office, and names drop that Mundus is trying to come back, and it deals with Sparta, and he knows his father is Sparta, the legendary demon Sparta, and so he's going to this castle out in the middle of nowhere to find out what's going on, and nothing's really led on at the story yet so far at that point. That's pretty much the basis of the story. Nothing has going on there. It's like you're trying to locate Mundus, so you're going through this castle, and most of it is just like Resident Evil-esque type stuff where you're like, get in this room, get this key, got to beat this boss, got to do this trial.
I didn't get that far.
And it's like
it was hard.
So it's actually not that bad. And then as you go through, I mean, you just got to make sure to level up as you get the orbs, level up your weapons. That helps a lot. So I'm at, like I said, I'm about halfway through the first game now, and I think I've got 3 hours into it. So it's probably like a 6 or 7 hour game, and I'm playing on medium.
Okay.
So depending on how you want to do it, I know I've read that there's new game plus, so whatever you unlock, you can go back through it. So you get different guns, and I think I'm at the grenade launcher now, and before then I had a shotgun, and I was like, man, they don't give me any fucking fast guns. It's like, it's more guns I get is like more powerful, but they're slow as shit. So I'm over here like dancing in the corner, reloading my grenade launcher, trying not to get hit. So I'm like, because it takes fucking forever. But so I figured out if I aim down and then keep hitting the reload button, he loads faster somehow. I don't know. I think it's a glitch, but I figured it out with
like a load animation or something?
Yeah, like it skips some kind of set. I'm like, yeah, bitch. I was like, it loads a little bit faster because of that. So, yeah. So I'll keep going with it. I don't know. I got that Devil May Cry 5, man. I kind of like, let me go through this shit and play the first 4 and figure out what's going story-wise. And I think from what everybody says, the first one is the hardest one to go through because it's the one that has not aged well. Like everybody's like, just fucking skip 1 and 2 because everybody says 2 is garbage. Yeah. And it's like, just go to 3 and then start at 3 and then go to 4.
You and Michael were telling me that. Just start with 3 and enjoy 3 when I was trying to play the first one. It's like, fuck this game.
I mean, I never gone through any of them. I think I bought the original one on PS2 when it first dropped the greatest hits, and that's when I was like, I'll buy it. When we had a greatest hits because it's like $20, I'll buy it. I think I tried playing it on PS2 and I just didn't. It's always that beginning part where it just was hard as shit and it just never captivated me. But I kind of like stuck with it this time. I'm halfway through it now. I kind of get it now. So
were the difficulty levels in the original, or is that a feature of the HD collection?
I don't know. I don't remember.
I'm curious now too, because that might be more for my speed, because I have that HD collection.
You can knock it down to easy. I think easy is the lowest one on there, and you might be able to blow through it just to kind of get the feel of it. So
I just want the story and the little bits of gameplay. I don't need the. It's well documented on here that I'm not down for. Let me get my ass kicked and keep trying this over and over again.
Oh yeah,
I don't have time for that.
Dark Souls of Devil May Cry.
Nope.
Or the Devil May Cry of Dark Souls. I don't know if I'll ever get Dark Souls. Maybe one day I will. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'll fuck around with it and maybe I might beat it. So we'll see what happens. Outside of that, I think the only other thing I've been playing a lot of Final Fantasy V.
That's random. I'm digging it though. The Adventure of Butts.
Bart's.
Butts Adventure.
I booted it up, and every version I have points to Bart's.
What version? What are you playing on?
I'm playing the Steam one. Okay. That's probably the easiest one. Yeah, it's the easiest one for me to play. So this one is like they did a lot of updates to it. The game looks good. The character portraits, when all the characters are done, are all done by Mono. It looks good. The only difference is that they took away that the Super Nintendo or Super Famicom sprites, and they replaced it with like that weird pastel characters for the characters. So that after
funky, like glossed over look.
It's like weird avatars you put in like a cheap ass Farmville game you have on Zynga Studios Facebook.
Zynga.
Zynga.
Don Matrick.
One sinking ship to another.
Too soon. It's 8 years too soon.
So I mean, after a while, I kind of grown to like it. They are generic as fuck, but they do show emotions. So like they do the aspirations and all the other shit they have from the original game. It's there. It's not like the bullshit where I think it would be. It's just like a block guy, like looks like a Roblox character just moving around like this constantly. So the emotions are there. Just I wish they would do away with that basic character look, but I've grown to ignore it. I don't know if I've grown to accept it, but I've grown to ignore it and just experience the story. This translation is I played 3 different versions of this fucking game. I think I played the Game Boy Advance one. I played the PlayStation one. I did the PlayStation one first, and then did the Game Boy Advance one, and now did this one. And this is probably the most accurate translation I've seen on this one.
I thought GBA was a really good translation.
I thought so as well, but this one's actually pretty fucking good. Cool. It's like it's just like the GBA one, but they expanded upon it.
That's
made
good.
Some changes on it. So they kind of redid it. So
that's good.
I'm probably like 2 hours into it where the main character is out there camping with the chocobo, and the whole game starts out with some of the character names have changed because, like I said, the translation's different.
Yeah.
I think that this one they swapped the Lina and Rina. They swapped the names out because the L and R is very similar in Japanese. So this one is I think this version is called Lina. And her father, the king, is flying out on a dragon to go to figure out what's going on with the wind crystal. And then you have this giant meteor that just crashes down onto the planet, and the wind crystal shatters.
I've heard this story before.
And basically, there is no wind no more. So she's trying to go back to that wind shrine to locate her father, and you end up running into an old man who has amnesia. And you play as Bartz. He's like this kind of I don't know if he's a mercenary. He's just traveling the world. It's like before his dad died. He says on there, there's a lot of story in this game for like the first fucking hour. He said before his father died, he made a promise to his father that he would travel the world and become, figure himself out. It was a promise he made to his dad before he died. So like he's just basically fucking around traveling the world. And so he ends up saving the old man and the princess, and they now he didn't want to help him at first. He kind of let them like, I'm not gonna go, Crystal. I'm doing my own thing. I don't want to get involved. And then the chocobo kind of like beat him up and forced him to go with him. Like, you just can't leave him do it. It's a young lady and an old man. It's like, come on, man. It's like his way of saying that, and he just kept poking him in the face. He's like, all right, I get it. I'll go help him.
Beat up by a chocobo.
So you have that earthquake. So you go over there and you pick them up, and then I'm in the cave now. They're trying to figure out a way to get to the wind shrine, but there's no wind anymore because the crystal shattered. So they see a pirate ship that's kind of sailing in the background that they're trying to figure out how did the pirate ship sail when there's no wind. So now the old man's got the idea where it's like, oh, we'll just steal the pirate ship. And the guy's like, oh, okay, I guess we'll just do that. So they end up trying to steal the pirate ship, but it wouldn't move.
That's an option.
So they just got captured now by the leader of the pirate, which is Ferris. And because Lena just told him like, hey, I'm the princess, and I need passage to the wind shrine. And the pirate, the pirate captain's like, well, I'm just, you're important, so I'm just gonna take you for a ransom. So now you're in the brig right now, and you're trying to figure out how to escape. That's where I'm at right now. It's like I think that's like the first hour.
Cool.
So yeah,
I've never played this game. I have played bits of every Final Fantasy game. I've never played 5 in any capacity.
5 is one of my favorite Final Fantasies. It's up there. It's in my top 3. I think that's when I played Final Fantasy 7 on PS1. I got in that kick with every RPG ever made, blah 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 bullshit. I think I bought every fucking Final Fantasy game on there, and I think the only one that captivated me the most out of all of them, because I played them all, beat them all, was 5. That was the only one. I don't know what it was, but it was. There's a whole thing. There's a whole plot twist in there where you're taken to another fucking world, and halfway through it, and it's like there's a whole bunch of good shit in that game. That is very underrated.
After 7, man, I mean, we could have 8 episodes on the PS1 RPGs, but after Final Fantasy 7 and that success, the work that Squaresoft did to get us all those original Final Fantasies on that platform is just like, it's crazy. When you look at that collection, like a collection that has 4 and Chrono Trigger, it's not the best versions of either one of those, but you get the anime cutscenes and CD sound, and it's just, man, it's God's work as far as preservation on those platforms, on that platform specifically.
Chrono Trigger on the PlayStation 1 was the first one that I've actually beaten. I didn't beat the Super Nintendo one, and that was the
Slow Trigger.
That's before the DS one came out there, because that was my favorite one, because I unlocked every inning in that Chrono Trigger, and I was able to save it on the memory card, and I could play any inning at any time I wanted to. So
benefit of the PlayStation easily.
Until the DS one came out, that was something you couldn't do before, because they took all those changes from the PS one and put them in the DS version. So, but yeah, I mean, and it sucks because we didn't get those Dragon Quest games like they did in Japan. So, because Enix fell under during that PlayStation 1 timeline, because they did the exact same thing. They went back and did every Dragon Quest game on there.
It's on the back of my. It's on the back of my Final Fantasy or Dragon Warrior 7 manual coming soon. Dragon Warrior 4 remastered or whatever they called it at the time.
And we never got it. Would I play it? I don't know, because I've tried to play a Dragon Quest game and I never. I think on my 3DS, I think the longest I got was Dragon Quest 7 was like 22 hours.
You got pretty far into it. You and I were playing that together, remember?
Yeah.
And I fell off after the Fire Festival. I remember that specifically.
I left your ass behind. I think I went to some other world. And
it was good. Those vignettes were amazing.
Yeah.
That was a good-ass game.
I think in 8, I got like 5 hours in and I dropped off on PS2.
I beat the waterfall in 8 every time I play through it, and then I stop. I'm like, okay, fuck this game.
I never did 9. I keep forgetting 9's even a thing. And then 10 we never got. And then
Brent,
I got 18.
Do you have any Dragon Quest / Warrior
18
experience?
versions of 11, so.
Yeah. None, Brent?
None.
I've been tempted to go back to that Switch demo. You get the first 10 hours for free, so.
It's the same demo they got on the PS4 one on as well.
Yeah. So that was one of the games my kid wanted, of all things, for the Switch this holiday. He wanted Dragon Quest 11.
You got it?
So he got it.
Oh,
did he beat it?
What does he think?
he's play. I think he started playing it. He got so many games. He's like going back and forth. But
he's one of us. He's one of us.
He starts playing, and then he'll go and start playing on this other one, and then he'll go over here. He got so much stuff. He got that Splatoon 2 and Katamari reroll and
good ass game.
Digimon Cyber Sleuth, all sorts of different stuff, and he just Kirby Star,
Allies,
Superstar Allies, yeah. And he just it's one of those things. He'll pick up a game, he'll start playing it, and then he'll put it down, play this one, and he's
one of us.
So
welcome,
yeah.
Welcome, son of Brant.
He's like going to like a wine tasting where he just has a little bit of each.
Yeah.
Sample.
Can't get drunk off wine tasting, man. You're not supposed to. You fuck up if you do. You're doing it wrong if you do.
Swirl, spit it out. That's it.
And I think what started it is just because he likes to play as Hero on Smash. Yep. So I think that got him interested in wanting to try and see what that series is all about.
Back in the day, Marth and Roy were in this popular Smash Brothers game, and people were like, who are these two? We don't know who these are. And look where we are now with Fire Emblem. Like, it just became a big thing. Yeah. So that's a, we've talked about Smash Brothers being this like celebration of Nintendo stuff, and it definitely rings true for that.
Yeah, and that's pretty much it for me, guys. I think the only thing I sent a picture to Richard. I got my Altair, or is it 2 game collector's editions in. I haven't fired those up yet, so got my PS4 where I get the free upgraded PS5. That's probably the one I'll fuck around.
Is it a Atelier? I never know what those games are called. I got that rare Switch one just because I saw it in stock.
It is yeah. Atelier. It's a French word. It's for house, whatever that is.
That franchise has been around since what, PS2 days?
Yeah, which one did you get on the Vita? There was a couple of them on there.
This was the Switch. I didn't get a Vita one. I got
Okay.
Ryza 2.
Ryza 1, if that's the one that keeps popping in and out of. And
There's some stockings.
Ryza
There's
2,
some stockings on the cover. Does that help?
Ryza 2 is the one that came out 2 days ago.
No, I got the first one then.
I wanted to clarify for that.
I've had it for like 3 months. I got the first one.
They did a limited run on those from Koei Tecmo. Well, not Koei, but Nipponichi Software. America did a limited run physical copies. They're fucking super expensive on the Vita. I was about to say, if you got the one on Vita, those are ones that are almost $300. So.
The Vita ones are pricey.
Mm-hmm. I think I ended up getting all of those when they were put the pre-orders on the store, but they're like get them loose, they're like $300 loose sometimes.
Ouch. All right, that's Cesar's games played. Brant, fill us in on your Juegos.
So like I said earlier, my first thing I had to download Maiden and play through it. Awesome. Like I said, it was pretty short. The biggest thing is I wouldn't necessarily say that the demo is scary or anything. The biggest thing for me was the sound design. You get a good feel, and they do a really good job of pulling you in and being able to build tension and just put you in this environment where you feel uneasy. And I played through it twice. Part of that was because I went and got the Pulse 3D headset, and I wanted to throw something on that I knew would support the 3D audio immediately. And I could tell a good bit of difference between the headphones I was using and those. But after the first playthrough, I actually wound up putting Katie in there and kind of told my kid about the demo, and then was just telling Katie about the demo and was like, yeah, you should play this thing. It's called Maiden. You'll like it. I think you'll like it. She's like, what is it?
Sweet innocent
Maiden.
Maiden.
What is it? Come on, tell me. And she's like, it's going to be something scary, isn't it? It's going to be something scary. Like, no, it's not. Really not. And like I said, I mean, I don't think it's honestly not. It's not that scary. And once I convinced her to play it, I was like, okay, now you have to play it like I played it. You have to put on headphones. I don't want to put on headphones. And but eventually I got her to put on headphones. I walked her through it a little bit as she needed some help. But after she did it, and later I showed her like the trailer and all this other stuff, she's like, it's really cool. I don't want to play it, but I would like to watch you play it because I want to see what happens.
I can be a part of this. I just can't beat this.
Yeah. She's like, it's too nerve at one part, because my son he stayed in the room, but like he wouldn't watch what was going on. He like got under the covers and like he got a blanket, put his head under, and was like playing on his tablet or on his Switch and he like laughed at her because like every little thing she'd jump or because there's like chains hanging from the ceiling and stuff, and like there was one time she bumped into them and just bumping into them and them hitting the wall, she like jumped, and he laughed at her, and she could like barely hear him behind, like next to her, and she freaked out. She's like because she thought it was in the game.
Y'all just
She's
start
like,
swinging
no, I don't do creepy children. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Somebody froze. Brant froze.
Nobody did. Did he
Damn
really?
it, Brant. This is your bit.
Look at that. Look at that smile. Look at that. Yeah.
Smile of champions.
Yeah, look at
That's
that.
how we gotta fill dead air.
Yep. We'll put that picture on the Wheaties box.
This is not the face Brant was making after his family enjoyed the maiden demo of Resident Evil 8 Village. There he is.
Okay.
There you go.
It's weird. I can hear you guys, and everything's fine on my end. No, nothing's wrong.
You froze, man. It was smile of the year. It's like you were in a pageant.
But she's a little uneasy with any Resident Evil thing after I put her in that kitchen demo in VR.
Yep.
And once it got to the point where she could like hear and see like the arm coming around, she
nope,
just
nope.
stood there. She stood there and was all tense, and she just kept going, my eyes are closed. I'm not looking. I'm not gonna look. So
too funny.
But I had a lot of fun with that. That was pretty cool. I did finish Ratchet and Clank, that PS4 update. They changed it to where the original villain technically is just kind of this scapegoat for like the real villain, and it turns and then you have this different boss fight. I actually, with as much bullshit as was in the original fight in the original game, I honestly preferred that ending a little bit more to the ending in this game.
All right.
As far as like,
you get to keep your retro card. I was getting ready to take it from you.
Just
were you like a fucking referee in a football match?
But in the original boss fight, I felt it was more like I said, even though it was more bullshit, I feel like it was more challenging, more rewarding kind of thing. The ending was still good. I still like the way that the game ended, and overall, I still felt the story was pretty good. But the original still holds its own place. So
right. They can stand independently of each other.
Oh yeah. And still, I can't wait until Rift Apart comes.
Day one for me. That's probably my next day one PS5 title.
Easily. Let's see. We continued playing Knack 2.
As one should.
Our weekly Knack 2 update.
So,
because I'm sure Mark Cerny's looking on there. Was like, well, there's somebody playing it right now. We can make it 3. There's obviously demand out there.
And he's like, he's doing the Leonardo DiCaprio. It's like, it's those fuckers that noticed I had the bio computer.
Oh gosh! And then if you listen to last week's episode when I called it painfully mediocre,
you broke that man's heart.
Yep, that could have been the episode title if it weren't for the good one that we went with. It could have been painfully mediocre.
Knack 2 is not painfully mediocre. Knack 2 is actually pretty damn
much
good.
Improved.
Yes. The combat is fleshed out a lot more. I told you there's this like kind of upgrade tree kind of going. I said that, there aren't any super moves. It's just like a Super Mario star, like this giant crystal pops up in the middle of this area you'll sometimes go into, and you hit it and you just super powerful attacks, and it's almost like you're invincible. Well, as you keep going, you do unlock super moves if you find these certain hidden areas, because that's something that carried over, which I hadn't even talked about in the first one, is you find those little secret areas, and
are they hard to find, or are they like entry level game or hard to find?
These are actually a lot easier to find. Cool. These are not as hidden as they were in the original game.
Okay.
Like nowhere near. Where you're sitting there trying to punch every wall, seeing what's breakable, what's not. Which, I enjoyed that about the first one, how people that played the game on your friends list, you could see what they got and you could trade if you wanted to. The items, because the secret items to where you could build certain little things, or what were they, like the secret little gems and stuff, and you could trade out or for different rarities there. This one, it still does the same thing. The items you can get and the gadgets you can build are not technically, I guess, as integral, because the first one very much was built on some of them are rare, some of them, you might get the same part over and over and things like that. And it was made really to get you to play through the game multiple times.
Go back through and find everything.
And not only that, it's like you got this one and it helps you find secret areas. You get this one and it upgrades your super meter. And this one, it's literally like it might help your defense. Or this one, another one may make it to where if you fall off a ledge, it's a teleporter. So you'll pop back up to right before you fell off the ledge without technically dying. And you can use that, a couple of times. Another thing they added, which I hadn't touched on in Act 2, was quick time events.
Yay!
So they, kind of
go on.
But it's kind of fun with 2 players because both knacks combine right before you go into a quick time event or certain areas where you have to like lift something heavy, and it becomes like this button mashing match between the 2 people. And it'll have the button symbol on either side of the screen, and both players press at the same time to see who gets there first. And, your color might take the other players. And so most of the time I'm a bit faster than my son, but every time he, gets one, he's like, yeah, I did
let
it.
him win.
And but sometimes he's just like, how did you do it so fast? Because I'll just whoop right over. But then there was as we were playing and going through, we got to this one section where there was you jumped into a tank, and I was not expecting that. You're driving this tank.
Was there a level like that in the first
and
one?
It's
I
very.
I remembered something like that.
No.
I don't remember. Was there any vehicles in the first one? Vehicle levels? I didn't think so, right?
Nope. This one, it's literally, I mean, you still fight some of the tanks and stuff like that, and then all of a sudden they get to this one section, and Knack just goes and sees this open tank, goes and runs and jumps in.
No, Knack, no, don't do that.
It's there. You're in it, and it was so satisfying. It was so good, so well done. And even with 2 players, you have one player that kind of controls directional and like a charge attack, and then the other player is controlling the actual gun and firing it and stuff on the tank. So it's broken up really well for 2 players. It played really well. And it's super satisfying just to mow over enemies or blow up giant things. And so we had a lot of fun with that. We just got to this part in the story where this, I guess it's supposed to be like kind of the big reveal or the big turning point of the game, where a character that you've been working with that you think is on your side all of a sudden turns heel, and they have their own agenda. Because I told you were trying to figure out, there were these robots that were waking up, and they used to be like these ancient goblin robots. And so you're working to stop them from waking up. You found out who was controlling them, what they were trying to do. You found the control center. Right. You hunted it down. You were working with this new character, and then all of a sudden he goes, "Oh no, it's all about who controls the robots. I want to control the robots because I want to do my own thing." So
the twist.
And it's honestly from like the first time you meet this guy, you're like, I don't think I can trust this guy. So
the really non-reveal reveal
again. Yeah.
Yeah, you're looking around. You're looking around like nobody's looking with you. You're like, I know this is gonna end up bad.
This guy sucks. Like, nobody.
Yeah, everyone's like, yeah, this seems legit. No, come on. Holy
Follow
shit, come
him.
on.
But then also he abandons us on this island, and it's just Knack and the kid, and they're just abandoned on this island now, and they stay there for about a month before they finally try to figure out a way to get off the island.
Training and leveling up,
and they stay on. Literally, they're just like, oh, somebody will come for us, and then nobody does. And well, I guess we got to do something. And then there's this weird little montage with them moving around and getting parts and stuff and building
so you have me a montage. I might be interested in this game, man. I love a good montage.
But literally, like it went from like a month later, and then they built this plane, and it shows them doing this little montage, and then it says 4 months later. So they spent 5 months on this damn island. And my biggest concern is, okay, from how that character looks now and where the story's going, it seems like it's going back to the beginning of the game when I told you that you were in the city and shit's going down and all that. But I'm pretty sure that at the beginning it said like a few weeks ago, and then it jumps back to the story, like starting the actual story of the game. I'm like, so wait a minute, how was it a few weeks ago if I just spent like half a year on this damn island
fighting each other, montaging?
So what you need to do now, Brant, is be the only person out there who writes an actual book about the lore of Knack and the development cycles, and
Brant's
just
Knack
be that guy.
Fiction he publishes.
Oh gosh,
published by Boss Battle Books.
But yeah, I would say again that probably the weakest thing about Knack 2 is
Brant's
probably
Knack
the
fan
story.
fiction. That's your episode right there.
It's not.
Oh,
it's not
no,
gonna be
no.
Brant's Knack fan fiction.
Somebody's gonna search it and be like looking for real fan fiction. They're like, what the fuck is this podcast? Maybe I should listen. Maybe this whole episode's about Knack fan fiction. This is what I wanted. This is the only search item that came up.
I'll post my Knack
Holy
fan
shit.
fiction in the
Holy
Knack
shit.
subreddit.
They have to wait an hour and 45 minutes for the Knack part.
Hey, he got to it. There were 6 months on the island, and stuff happens there. Fan fiction.
The
There we go. We got
montage.
the setting set.
Just a boy and his Knack on the island.
Oh man.
Oh,
Here we go.
Shit.
Oh gosh, what's the? I can't even remember that name of that book, where it's the old man and the boy, and they're stranded on that island, and oh my
Sounds
gosh,
like
you
Black
had to read
Stallion,
in
but it was a
school.
horse instead of an old dude.
No, it wasn't. Gosh, it's
Why do we go to
gonna
Black
it's
Stallion?
gonna
Count
drive
in
me
Monte
crazy.
Cristo?
What?
I never ever in my life sit there and thought about a movie like, well, what's a movie I
Black
missed?
Stallion.
Black
Black Stallion's a good ass story. You need to read the Black Stallion.
Yeah, but it's not something like I can talk. I mean, I think about the book, but I never think about the fucking movie. I'm sitting there like thinking about Old Yellow or something like that.
Black Stallion's a
Oh my
fucking classic. It's so good.
The book's good.
Movie's good. And I think they just remade it. All right, Brant, what movie is it where you're thinking about? Is it a book with a character and an old man on an island?
It's a book. They may have made
Are they
a
in prison?
movie adaptation.
Because you were close to Count in
No.
Monte Cristo. That was my closest guess.
It's something that's gonna bug me. I'm gonna have to look it up.
At some point.
Who, Cesar?
An iron.
Isn't there an Iron Mask in that movie too? For the Mount.
Same author. That's Alexandre
Monte
Dumas.
Cristo.
He also did Three Musketeers.
Which one? Which movie?
The
was
Disney
good
one with
There's so many of them.
Yeah, and
Charlie
Kiefer
Sheen?
Sutherland. And Tim Curry. That's a dope ass movie. I'll Die on That Hill. That's the best iteration of Musketeers. And Chris O'Donnell.
Did you see the one with Mila Jovovich with like the flying airships? I'm like, what the fuck am I watching? The Final Fantasy movie? the airships are flying.
I watched
man.
a preview for it, and Orlando Bloom was the bad guy. I was like, I don't know about this. It was like a steampunk version.
I was like, he was a fucking good guy in Pirates of the Caribbean. I was like, he
Yeah.
looks like somebody would be in
It was
that
that
movie.
era, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Okay, never mind. I'm sorry.
Sorry. The
Shut
book
the fuck up so I can finish.
the book I was thinking about is by Theodore Taylor. It's called The K.
Hey, I recognize that cover. I never read that
Okay.
book.
I remember having to read it in like middle school or something.
Did you enjoy the K? Brant the K?
I think so. It's Knack the K.
Knack Trace.
The Knack.
Oh, God.
The Knack.
Too many Knack jokes from last
Oh
week,
god,
too.
no.
But yeah, we're still enjoying that. I think we're chapter 9 or 10, and I just looked it up. There's like 15 chapters, so we should hopefully finish it pretty soon. And that's another thing from Knack 1 to Knack 2 that this one does better. This one's a lot better paced. I remember the chapters in Knack 1 just kind of dragging, and because you'll be on chapter 4, but they have all these sub chapters. So, you keep playing and playing, and then you're like,
all the real stories told in sub chapters, man. We all know that.
Oh, but it's just like, I'm on chapter 4.2, and then you play and play and play, and then it's like, oh nope, I'm still on 4.4. I thought I'd be on like 5 or 6 by now.
You're on there. You're on pulling up your webpage, looking at how long to beat, and you're like, damn, this game's only 8 hours. It feels like 20.
But no, Knack 2, the story's still kind of but overall, it's
yeah, right. You just described it to us. The story sounds fucking great. Everything you've described,
it's crazy.
You had me a montage. Fan fiction, 6 months on the island.
Yeah, we need to know what happened exactly. 6 months on that island.
Fuck, I love fucking montages
and heists. If it's a montage of multiple heists, that's man.
Holy shit! If I can get a fucking montage of some bullshit I have to deal with every day, and I just play some music, and I'm at the end of it, I'm like, oh, that was fun. Glad we got there. I'll do that for fucking 12 years.
Montage of Cesar.
And then the last thing I actually started playing this past week was Infinite Second Son. I popped that back in.
The other half of my order poster motivated you.
Yes, I loved this game. This was, gosh, one of my favorite games, especially early games PS4
game
had to offer. I had like a few weird like graphical pop-ins with this on PS5. Just jumping around and stuff. It would just have like a weird like flash. But other than that, it plays really smooth. It looks really good. The way that the main character Delson like jumps is really weird because he's just like he does like this weird hop with it and has his hands out kind of like claws and I don't know. And his name Delson always made me think of Delsum, like cough syrup. So
it's like they went super hipster with the Seattle beanie name thing.
Yeah.
Space Needle. Sure. Mariners.
There was a Space Needle in that fucking game. There was.
Yeah, I just climbed the damn Space Needle.
Yeah. I know what the fuck I'm talking about.
But yeah, I got to the part where I've got my powers. He's found out that he can absorb powers, and I got my smoke powers. I went through the whole beginning bullshit, and that weird the militant lady showed up to try and question me. I realized that
not the tall vampire lady.
Yeah, I started a infamous playthrough on this, a bad playthrough, and I guess never finished it. So I went ahead and just decided I'd do a whole bad decision only playthrough on this. So going through and just haphazardly killing anybody and doing all this stuff. Got through Seattle, or got to Seattle, started taking out some of the militant people that have taken over the city. Another thing that's really funny is I completely forgot about it, the spray paint sections where you turn your controller sideways, shake it up like a spray can, and
the early DualShock 4 days.
I thought that was so cool when I did it on PS4.
I don't know. Did you play Lair with us? I mean, I don't think. I don't think you know.
No. Motion gaming's the future.
But there was even one section where I went and did one right outside of one of these bases where all the military guys are, and so I start doing it, and then all of a sudden I see, because it just for anybody that hasn't played this game, there's these little spray paint sections because he's like a graffiti artist technically.
If you enjoy that, then let me tell you about a game called Concrete Genie.
Oh yeah,
out of that
couple days from now.
But so like there's these sections where you can go and you'll tag the area, and so he usually does like 3 different colors of spray paint, and so he throws up a piece of cardboard with a little bit of a cutout on it, and you don't quite see what it is. You spray paint it one color, and then he throws up another, and spray paint it again with another, and then throws up the last one to do the last color to, you know, kind of reveal the art. And then he finishes it up and kind of stylizes it based on what kind of playthrough you're doing, whether it's, you know, heroic or infamous.
I didn't know it like changed the way it looked based off of that.
Slightly.
Just enough of that where it respects your decisions. You know, you're not getting this. He's not going through this part of the game, and you're just like, I don't think that matches the character. So even just a subtle instance of, okay, this falls in line with what I'm doing. I like when stuff like that clicks.
And this.
Oh. To add to that, and I don't mean to interrupt him before I forget. You ever play Silent Hill Downpour? There's a whole bit when you get off you break out of the prison bus, and the cop, she's chasing after you, and there's a bit where you ask you, do you want to save her or don't? Yes or no? I was like, yeah, I'll save her, and then she falls down anyways. I'm like,
right.
Why give me the choice? I was like, why is that there for? I chose yes.
They didn't respect your decision at all.
I'm like, all right, cool. Yeah. My choices didn't matter.
And that's something that the Infamous games did pretty well. Was, you know, letting you be either good or evil. And I mean, the majority of the cutscenes are gonna stay the same, but they do change a lot of these key moments and interactions with a lot of these characters. Like even the old woman at the beginning, that, you know, you can tell that Delson has this kind of relationship with her where she lets him kind of slide and get away with a lot of shit. And already I remember the interaction being a little bit different between him and her, and already she's seeing kind of he's not such a nice person, and she'll, you know, because you'll have characters call you on your cell phone and talk to you, and he just keeps blowing her off.
Cool. That's cool how that changes.
So far she's calling you, and he's just like, I'm blowing, you know, sorry, I can't talk. And then she calls again, you hung up on me, what, you know, and blah. He's like, sorry, I'm awkward. You know, I'm busy.
It's so hard for me to play games like that.
But so I go to do this graffiti outside this giant militant base that they got going, and I throw up the first piece of cardboard, and he starts spraying, and then all of a sudden I throw up the second piece of cardboard, and I see this dude with his gun like slowly creep into the frame, and I'm like, what the heck? And so I spray, and he's just standing there off to the side like this. And so I go to throw up the third one, and he moves across the screen with his gun pointed at me, just watching me graffiti. And then I finish it, and he's, you know, all framing up and looking at it, and he does this little voice line, and then all of a sudden, immediately the music starts up, and like they start shooting at me and everything. I thought it was pretty hilarious.
Brant broke the game. That's when it's at its best.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll probably play that maybe a little on and off. I know I talked about it earlier, how I want to, especially after playing the Maiden demo, it got me in the mood to play more horror games, because I threw this in and I played it for maybe an hour or so, and after I put it down, I'm like, it didn't really scratch that itch. I really do want to pop in Resident Evil 7 and play that. So, but I might throw that in sometime this week and try to get back into it. Yeah, yes. non-VR this time.
Join me, fight the mold.
Fight the mold spores.
Destroy mold. Find the bleach pump. Pump bleach on there. Use the scrubber.
Mold away.
But other than that, yeah, I think that was it.
That's our news. That's our games played. Are we gonna start adding any more segments? Maybe some aluminum and aspartame in the near future.
I'll look tomorrow. I gotta go.
Make
to
Brent
work
drink
tomorrow.
some coffee. Brent froze again. No.
No, he's not. He's like
He's
this,
just thinking.
deep in thought and about drinking coffee.
He's like,
do I really want to do
it
this?
for the show.
I just saw the tweet where PlayStation Plus Japan gets a fourth game. They're getting Bloodstained, and it looks like they are only getting the PS5 version of Control Ultimate Edition.
It's very specific. I wonder why they would shoehorn them into that.
Don't know.
We'll find out.
Who knows?
Update next week. Tune in next week to find out. Thank you. Do you guys have anything you want to add? I cut everything off.
No. I mean, what do we got this week? Nothing. Outside of me and Brant's ReZero comes out on Friday.
Nope.
Mine already shipped.
It's coming in. Brant's ready.
Friday.
Mine has shipped as well.
So expect a review, a preview, a games played of ReZero next week, hopefully.
Possibly.
It depends. A lot of people on Twitter are like, I'm digging the visual novel part, but they didn't show any of the actual gameplay part where you got to get to they call it adventure mode or whatever it is. So I don't think they've ever gone into detail about that. So I guess it depends on how bad it's any good or if it sucks ass. So because some people don't want to do that mundane shit and they try to go through the story. So
tune in next week to find out if it sucks ass. Thank you for joining us this weekend. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Adios.
See you.